What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I am Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details.
Woo-hoo, yeah, hooray!
The French will rise again, am I right, boys?
The French will rise again. DJ, I mean, maybe that's a thing in France. I don't know. Maybe they have their own civil
They ride
war
around with their classic French flags saying, "We will rise again."
That's true. They did have different flags before the civil or the French Revolution. So maybe that's what those mean. In France.
Maybe if you're like a really racist nationalist, you dream of the Third French Empire. Maybe.
Yeah.
Guys, you know I often just make shit up when I talk on this show, right? So maybe let's not read into it.
All three of us do,
just...
DJ. All three of us do.
That's true. I haven't cornered the market on that niche.
Speaking of things that the market is cornered on, guys, before we get to talking about a wonderful, well, not wonderful, we'll see, but some sort of movie.
A flawless movie, would you say?
Yes. I would say not necessarily a flawless movie in the context of what it is, but definitely in the context of what the word flawless really means, but in what it means in the movie, yes, a flawless movie.
I was gonna say, yeah, in terms of how the movie uses it, totally flawless.
I mean, it might as well be flawless, yeah. It's like, I think, yeah, it's adorable. But I did want to talk about someone who cornered the market on winning the bracket last week.
Yes.
Did you see the DM, DJ?
No, I did not see the DM. I don't think I have access to our Twitter account, so I don't see our DMs.
Oh,
I know, I don't.
I got
Give
this
me
one,
access, damn it.
I mean, I could. I got this one through this person DM'd me as well and just mentioned that they had DM'd the group. But anyway, here, I'll read this to you. This is fun. So you'll learn this on the air. And this person did screenshot me, sent me a screenshot with the proof. So I have that. So I can guarantee this person's name. Oh, and this is exciting. Name is Ryden, Ryne.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would assume that's how you spell it. It could be Renee. I don't know. But either way, here's how it reads. Hey, Nando. I'm Renee /Ryden, the guy who won the March Madness group. I sent a DM to the Mostly Nitpicking account, but not sure how often you guys check that account's DM, so figured I'd send it to you as well. My movie request is Spy Kids 3D. No need to watch any of the other ones, just the third. Doesn't have any racial slurs as a plot point, as far as I can remember at least, but it does have Sylvester Stallone, so if that's enough reason to be made fun of by you guys, then fire away. And then included the picture of the thing.
So excited.
Yeah.
I must say, now, first, I am excited. That's an amazing choice, but I am loath that I cannot watch it in 3D. I don't have the ability to.
What? Oh, so this is something I started looking up. You can just buy 3D glasses online. That's what I'm doing. I ordered a pack of 5, and I'm assuming there's a 3D version of it I can find, right?
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I'd love to watch it in 3D.
I don't see why
I really
not.
would. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about that. So congratulations, Ryan. It's a movie that I believe at the time it was like I saw it in theaters. It's the last Spy Kids movie I've seen. I think there's one after that, but that one's pretty good. So I'm very excited, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we'll get to it. Who knows?
Sometime before the next one of these gets one. So before I guess the football season one. Yeah.
Sometime before the heat death of the universe.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think of things that it's related to. So Sylvester Stallone is in Suicide Squad as the shark. So if we want to do a Sylvester Stallone movie, there's that.
Okay.
This movie has Machete in it. I don't know if Machete is in anything coming up soon. What was the other thing I was thinking of? There's no other 3D glasses movies. The movie has it's like a video game movie. So besides that, this is a video game movie.
Oh, true.
I was gonna say it's got kind of a similar vibe to Space Jam. So this might also be a decent lead up to Space Jam, the New Legacy, whatever the hell it's called. Space Jam, Clockwork Orange 2.
Oh, God.
So we'll see what we do with that, but it is on our list, and yes, we can't wait. So congratulations, Ryan. And if anybody else wants us to do a movie that they recommend, then all you got to do is win one of these contests we do, or probably donate to something, or who knows. We've got a lot of ways, honestly, more than you would expect. Yeah,
that's so cool. That's awesome.
I'm excited. I have fond memories of that movie. How have you guys been this week? Anything exciting going on?
Watched some WrestleMania this past week, and I have to say it was quite good. They did they did 2 nights, which was pretty great. They did it last year, but last year was weird because COVID, so it was much more of a theatrical production in terms of we're gonna pre-film a lot of stuff, and it actually worked really well. So it kind of lent itself to 2 nights, but they did 2 nights this year, and I loved it. I don't feel drained and just totally dead by the end of WrestleMania. It's not like an 8-hour long thing. It's 4 hours. It's 8 hours over 2 nights, but that's better. It's like 2 Snyder cuts, right?
Jesus Christ!
I could watch them.
WrestleMania, is it usually 8 hours long?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Oh my God, that's so long.
I know.
It's like the longest thing ever. Nothing's ever
right?
been that long.
Why do you think it's WrestleMania, Nando?
That's true.
Because
I
by
would
the
go.
end of it, you've induced some kind of psychosis in yourself.
Yeah, I would enter a state of mania after hour 4 at least, maybe 6 is as far as I could go. But God, what is it? Sleep no more? How am I going to spend 8 hours doing something like watching? I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know.
It. You ever watch football all day?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
right?
Point made. That's it.
Okay, cool.
I'm definitely, and I don't see. I guess it's just I'm not really a binge person. I don't binge shows that often. So when people say people are like, well, the Cyrax only 4 hours. Don't you watch all 10 episodes of Umbrella Academy in one sitting? I don't do that, but I do watch sports sometimes. Just usually I'm doing something else. But
you don't even watch
similar.
a 2-hour movie in one sitting.
I didn't with this one, but that was not my fault. That was the Peacock app's fault, which we will talk about.
Can we save that as a segment? Because I have things to say about the Peacock app.
Yes, we will. I'm putting. I'm writing the segment.
Put it in the notes because I have much to say about the Peacock app.
I had a perfectly fine experience with the Peacock app, and so I have nothing to say.
We'll get to it. DJ, phone or desktop?
TV.
Oh, interesting. So we all did different things. Wait, Diggins, did you do desktop or TV?
I did desktop.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we'll all have various things to say.
Yeah. All right. So the Peacock property that we... Oh, wait. Sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to give Diggins his time to talk about
his... yeah.
Oh, my week was very boring. I've been watching my niece a lot for my sister and my brother-in-law, which
that's
is
awesome.
nice.
It's not boring.
But also...
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to talk about? Yeah, I dangled some plastic keys in front of a baby. It's not exactly interesting to talk about.
Diggins, I really enjoyed when you dangled the plastic keys in front of me. So maybe I'm getting more joy on my end of it than you got on the, giving end of it. But, I enjoyed the keys, so I thought maybe our audience would enjoy the keys.
That's right.
Are you implying that you are my niece?
I mean, I'm implying that you dangled keys in front of me because you said a baby. I didn't go, the whole
That's fair.
DJ's talking about Da Baby, the rapper, as we all know.
Yeah, I've been watching Da
Baby.
Makes way more sense.
I don't understand why they make keys. It's not like kids implicitly like keys. It's that adults jangle regular keys, and that's well, they made plastic keys, but they might as well just be anything.
Let me tell you, what babies do implicitly like is putting things in their mouth.
They love it, man. They're such huge fans.
Before we say anything terrible, speaking of babies, we're gonna talk about a movie based on a video game. Do you guys remember this? Where eventually
you could do a babality.
Yeah, you could do a babality because the people got mad about the senators that were complaining about them. So fine, we'll turn into babies. We're gonna talk about 1995's Mortal Kombat. The first of the Mortal Kombat live action movies, but not the last, and not the last of them just named Mortal Kombat, so it's important to say.
Because we can only name movies like one thing anymore, and then you have to say the year so people know which movie you're talking about.
I mean,
there's no new movies or ideas. Whatever.
It could have been The Mortal Kombat. That would have been fine. Or like Mortal Kombat, Sub-Zero's Awakening or something like that. But like,
I take it. Or
Mortal Kombat Rebirth or something. All excellent names. Mortal Kombat Fatality. That doesn't really work. Anyway, guys, Mortal Kombat 1995. This is very exciting. This is in our lead up to Mortal Kombat 2021, which will be this Mortal Kombat Annihilation next year, the sequel to this movie, and then the new one with Steve Harvey and I don't know what else is interesting about that movie. What else do people know? Any famous people in it? Probably not, right?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Like this one, it's probably just a lot of stunt people. Not like that's a bad thing, but like people that are cast as guys who can do backflips and shit. But yeah, I know that the guy who plays Jax is what's his name is Steve Harvey. But it's Makad Brooks from Supergirl with that mustache. I feel like I should probably know who the Liu Kang is or something. I know there's like a new character for the new one, which people are kind of upset about, but also he'll probably end up being somebody else. So whatever. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about the new one. I mean, the old one, but
the original one. Oh,
one of the first video game movies ever made, I think.
Oh, I'll have to.
Did it come before or after Google. Super Mario Brothers? That's my question. I want to say after.
I think Super Mario Brothers was 92.
Me too. I want to say 93, but it's around there. So if that's true, then this is probably second or maybe even third. Who knows?
So it's interesting. Wikipedia has a page on this, and indeed the first one is Super Mario Bros. 1993. Mortal Kombat is number 4. Do you guys have any guesses for the other two? They both came out within a month of each other in 1994.
Sure. Ooh. I'll take a guess.
I have a guess. But you can go first, Nando.
God, I don't want to... this is tricky. I don't think... I'm going to feel so stupid. I don't think Tomb Raider was this early. I'm going to guess... I know there was a Grand Theft Auto game, kind of. But I don't know if it was based off of... The game was based off the movie or the movie was based off the game. But I'll say that.
No.
Damn it.
I'm going to say Double Dragon.
Diggins got one of them.
So my other one was going to be, I've already forgotten. Double Dragon is a good one, though. I mean, it's not Street Fighter, right? I want to say Street Fighter. Well, Street Fighter might also have been 1995. I don't think it was, though. Was it? Is it Street Fighter?
It's Street Fighter, yes.
Oh, okay.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Those are both
job,
good.
Guys. Go with your gut, Nando.
Yeah, it was tricky. Because I don't remember, did Street Fighter come before the Mortal Kombat game? I know the first one was 92.
I think the first Street Fighter the game or Street Fighter the movie?
The game, sorry. Yeah, which game came first? I want to say Street Fighter came first.
I feel fairly confident that Street Fighter is an older game series than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, the first game in Street Fighter was released in 1987.
Wow, so they had a really big head start on these movies, but I guess...
And somehow, Mortal Kombat has, like, double the Street Fighter games.
Yeah.
Despite the head start.
Well, that depends if you count, like, every version of a Street Fighter game as a separate game.
Yeah, I feel like Street Fighter has, like, the alphas, right? But then... And, like, all that bullshit. But this one, they also made, like, spin-offy Mortal Kombat games.
Yeah, so does Mortal Kombat.
Correctly.
You got Mortal Kombat Special Forces, Mortal Kombat.
No, Mortal Kombat has a lot of spin-offs, but Street Fighter has, like, there's Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Alpha, Street Fighter 2 plus Alpha Xeon, Fighter 2 Alpha 2 Zero X Boy. You know, there's like a million versions of the same game.
That's the one where you get to play as Mr. Boy from Sky High. Everyone's favorite
that's
character.
My fave.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun to watch him switch outfits mid-fight. He's the only character that can do that. But yeah, so Mortal Kombat came out in 1995. It is directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, a guy who makes movies like the Resident Evil movies mostly. and it stars a bunch of people, most notably a French guy that we were all making fun of.
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. I mean, it stars other people. It stars, I mean, the guy that plays Shao Kahn, he's like a guy, or not Shao Kahn, excuse me, Shang Tsung. He's a dude.
I mean, the guy who plays Shao Kahn is also a guy, but
yeah, that is true. The only non-guy in this movie, besides the women, is the big clay monster man. Or I guess
Goro?
there's two non-guys then. Yeah, because there's also
Well, no,
Reptile, but Reptile turns into a guy.
I was
eventually.
talking about, well, Shao Kahn is also just an effect, but his voice is someone you would have heard of, as is Goro's voice.
Well, Goro's voice I recognized right away, and I don't like it. I think that voice, while I enjoy that voice actor, I think I hear it too often. I'm like, okay, it's this guy again.
He does a lot of animated stuff.
Yeah.
Like, a lot.
Like, I feel like if they're making a show that's animated, especially if it's, like, kind of for us, not like for us, but like, Invincible. I don't know which character he is in there, but I'm sure he's in there somewhere, because that's just how it works. Which is fine. I don't know, whatever. He's good.
180, and it's like, I'm not offending nobody.
I like him. I do enjoy his work, but it does sometimes I'm like, he's every single thing. And it's just a little like, it's hard with a guy like that because you hear him so often that you start to associate him with other characters. So I'm like, I'm hearing Goro, but I'm really hearing like the Joker from the Batman show or whatever. So
That's
we'll get
true.
to it.
Whenever I hear Stephen Blum, I'm like, the guy from the Mad World game. That's all I can think of. You ever played that game?
He's another one. I never played Mad World, but I played the other one. Anarchy Rises, which I love.
Okay, yeah, same shit. Yeah.
Real fun game. Speaking of games that are fun and bloody, just like those, we're talking about Mortal Kombat. Diggins, you won the thing.
I did.
Last week.
Reigning
So you're
champion.
in charge of the IMDbing of us. I
All right.
encourage
Well,
you
I
to
have
me.
Don't
I
bring
have
up
it pulled up here.
Don't bring any of your anti-DJ biases into the, judging process. It's supposed to be, unbiased, fair and balanced.
What about my
it.
pro DJ biases?
Those you can bring in.
Bring as many of those as you can muster.
Yeah,
And he's going to need all of his strength.
Oh, get out of here, son. Oh, I'm going to crush you. All right.
Good luck.
Should
all right.
should I give the vague hint that Nando usually does?
Sure.
And
yeah.
I gave that one time.
Yeah, I think we do those
It's
in general.
it's pretty it's one of the shorter ones. It's one of the simpler ones.
Okay.
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 DJ, since I am new, you get to decide who goes first.
All right. I would like to go first.
Great. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So simple. Okay. So, in order to save the world from certain destruction, Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade must team up to win the martial arts tournament Mortal Kombat. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to say fighters from all around reality compete in Mortal Kombat, a deadly fighting tournament where two worlds hang in the balance. Something like that.
Ooh. Oh, this is actually really tough.
Oh, really?
This is actually really tough.
All right. Do you want
So-
to? Is there something else
Is
we
there
can
a
guess or something
tiebreaker?
like
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
like, we've never had this before. It's never been so close.
Because here's the thing. Neither of you knocked it out of the park,
Oh, really?
but
Oh,
you
wow.
did pretty good. You both did pretty good. DJ, I think you got the words a little better, but Nando got the order pretty much perfect.
Fuck.
Well, you read it to us, and I'll decide how we did. Or I'll maybe that'll help.
You both tell me how you think you did after I read
All right,
this.
all right. That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
what
The actual one is 3 unknowing martial artists are summoned to a mysterious island to compete in a tournament whose outcome will decide the fate of the world.
That's tough.
So,
Did
like,
any of us say island? Because that would have been the tiebreaker.
No.
Neither of you said island. Neither of you said island.
And wait, there's no Mortal Kombat in the fucking
It doesn't
summary?
say Mortal Kombat. You both said Mortal Kombat. It's not in there.
Sometimes they don't have it, I guess. I mean, it's called the Mortal Kombat tournament, right? In the movie, I'm not... Or,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
the name of the tournament. It's
It
Mortal
is.
Kombat.
I don't know. I really don't know. You know what? You know what we could
never
do?
happened before. What can we do?
No one needs to win or lose immediately, except for to decide who talks about the movie first. But we could just let Diggins do that. We could let the people vote.
They're going to vote for you.
Yeah, probably. That's why I think it's a great idea. It was
No. Here's what it is. Here's what it is.
Here's what we should do.
What?
We should have to guess something else about IMDb, like the
That's
order of
what
the
I was
going to
do.
Okay.
That's what I was going to do.
What could we guess?
I'm looking at the first goof. If you tell me what scene you think the goof is in, the one that gets closer to it by what happens in the, film runtime of the movie, that person wins.
So wait, I'm giving you a time?
Or
Not a time,
scene,
just a scene.
thing.
Give me a scene.
Okay.
Of
A
the
thing that
first
happens.
Goof?
The first goof.
Yeah.
And this is on IMDb.
Right. Not the first goof
thing.
chronologically. The first goof that IMDb is showing
Is it
me.
a good one, Diggins? You sound like you're laughing. Is it funny?
I'm laughing because this is a stupid way to decide this.
Okay.
That's fair. All right. I'm gonna give a guess. I know it's wrong, but I'm gonna give a guess. Is it when Shang Tsung
Song.
is it when Shang Tsung rips the soul out of the first guy who we see lose in the fight, and he gets soul ripped out, you see a skeleton, and then he fucking has a seizure and then just collapses to the ground?
It is not that scene.
Okay. I'm going to say it has something to do with... I'm going to say it has something to do with... So it would technically happen after GJ's thing. I would say it has something to do with Sonya Blade's outfit at the end of the movie. So I'm going to guess it's when we see her first or something like that in Otherworld or whatever the...
Outworld.
Outworld. There you go. Yeah, I knew I was close.
So
I'm going to say that.
You're both wrong. DJ is definitely closer, though.
Oh,
Fuck
interesting.
yeah.
What is it?
So, DJ wins. The first goof it's showing me on IMDb is during the fight scene between Scorpion and Johnny Cage in the plantation. Scorpion releases the creature from under his arm, but when he calls it back, it can be seen that the source is his palm.
Right. Interesting.
That was a silly goof. Also, that was a silly scene. You were right to laugh. Also, you were right to pick me as the winner. Thank you.
You were like 2 or 3 scenes before that, and Nando was the end of the movie.
Yeah.
When that happens in the middle of it. So you were definitely
I forgot
closer.
about the plantation fight.
Well, it's so fast.
Because it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, that and every scene in this movie is ready for you to forget it the next moment it happens, but I jump ahead. Or do I? Do I get to go first?
No, you go first. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
DJ,
jump
you are
as
the
far
winner,
ahead as
so you
would
get to
like.
talk. Yeah,
All
you get
right.
to talk about the movie as much as you want.
Okay, so my thoughts on this movie is it's pretty bad, guys. It's pretty bad, and it doesn't have the funness of Sky High, where it's this is a little goofy, even though parts are bad. Despite its class system origins, this movie's just kind of bad. It's very forgettable. I watched it 4 hours ago, and I'm struggling to remember sequences of scenes. I just oh yeah, the plantation fight. Or, oh yeah, that thing where Katana just talks to Liu Kang for 5 minutes. Or, oh yeah, the reptile fight. Nano mentioned reptile. And I feel like this movie is just kind of jumping around from scene to scene, where the premise was, okay, there's a little pamphlet that comes with the Mortal Kombat video game, which explains what the deal with Mortal Kombat is. There's no story in the actual game to speak of. So it's alright, let's just fill in the gaps. We'll have some fight scenes. We'll have some early stuff where we explain the characters. Instead of each character getting a whole Marvel movie, they get a 5 to 10 minute scene with what's going on. And then we'll just bring them all together and they're going to fight. It doesn't really work. I didn't have fun during the movie. This is the movie's fault, but the application that delivered said movie, I have some thoughts on. And, it wasn't even that fun, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm kind of low on this movie. I'd give it a solid not great.
Wow.
Well, DJ, actually, the plot of this movie is very faithful to the plot of the first game, to the point that it was co-written by 2 of the game's creators.
Right.
Oh, I get that. What I'm saying is, the story of the...
The story of the first Mortal Kombat is nothing I would call good. I'm just saying, unlike many video game movies from this time period, it is extraordinarily faithful.
Well, that's fair. But I mean, I guess my point is, like, you could fit the story of the first Mortal Kombat game into, like, a 30-minute sitcom episode, but they stretched it out to a 90-minute movie. It doesn't really go. There's too much bullshit in the middle.
DJ, I can't believe you. This movie is perfect. I loved every minute of it. I think it, as far as the story goes, I think it was fine. I don't expect too much from it as far as, like, what every character wanted, but I think their motivations all lined up, and we got a little bit of an arc and some sort of emotional payoff for everyone. And even beyond that, I found all the cheesiness of this movie is very fun and aged super well, and I loved it. I liked that the movie played the song twice. I guess 3 times if you count the credits, but I loved that, like, this movie, much like Street Fighter, which I also enjoyed the movie of, the first one at least, embraced most of the things I like about the game. Yeah, I had a blast with this one. One of my favorites. But yeah, Peacock sucks. Diggins, what about you?
Let's agree there.
I mean, DJ isn't wrong in that the plot of this movie's total nonsense that falls apart if you think about it even a little bit. The acting's not that great for the most part.
Heard that.
And there's a lot of things like that the CGI is hilarious. But all that being said, I kind of enjoy the Hong Kong action movie style it seems to be going for, where all that stuff is kind of laughable and silly, but it's really just an excuse to string together a bunch of fight scenes that are actually pretty cool. I mean, you can tell that the people they hired are, I think, as we said on this already, they're basically like stunt people. They're not like famous actors. They're people who know how to do cool fight scene stunts, and it shows. They're pretty good at them. And I think that is neat because, that's something you don't see in a lot of movies anymore that are not like specifically doing that. You have your John Wicks where everyone besides Keanu Reeves who's doing stunts is a stunt person and not a famous actor. And it's all about making those fight scenes look cool. But other than that little niche, like most of the time you get an action movie, it's famous actors with stunt doubles or like doing crazy things that are not necessarily fight scenes. So it's cool to see that in a big American movie. And okay. I had a good time with it. It's silly, it's cheesy, it's fun, it's, I would never watch it for the dialogue, but I had a good time. And also my experience with Peacock was totally fine. I had no problems.
All right, so I have a question for the both of you, but mostly Diggins. Did you suffer any kind of brain damage prior to watching the movie?
Oh my god!
You like fall down some steps or something?
I mean, I did, as I said, spend a large portion of my past week with a baby, so that might have influenced my intellectual expectations.
Yeah. It's you're supposed to go in the toilet, right? You don't just sit there. And despite my previous comments on this podcast that have been pointed out to me, it's you gotta go in the bathroom, thing.
I don't understand what this reference is.
I'm saying words, and that babies go in diapers. Oh man, this is just part of the scene. I suffered
the brain damage one. Yeah, I don't think your brain damage. I think the brain damage that you had. There's nothing wrong with brain damage, but something about what's going on with you has made your enjoyment of this movie impossible. And it's a shame because the movie is great.
That's true. I am a sad person. Also, I did watch 8 hours of WrestleMania this weekend, so who knows what that did to my brain. There's things may have happened. So
that's probably it. Because as we said, this movie is perfect. And let's see, where do we start with it? Okay, real quick, let's start with Peacock. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, my question was directed more towards Diggins, not because of the Mortal Kombat comments, but because of the Peacock comments. Because I can understand where you could derive joy from this movie. I don't know how you could have no complaints with Peacock by the end of this experience. So, Diggins, would you like to open? Because I think you'll have the most generous things to say about Peacock, so that Nando and I could tear it to pieces.
I mean, I didn't have a particularly notable experience with Peacock. It was a streaming service that I loaded up a movie on, watched until it was over, and then closed. There was no interruption of service between those 2 points, so it was fine.
You watched on desktop, right?
Yep.
Okay, what is your membership level of Peacock?
Free, baby.
Okay, did you have ad breaks during the movie?
I did have to watch ads, which doesn't rule, but I mean, whatever.
And you had no issues with said ad breaks?
No, they played, and then when they were over, the movie started again.
Okay, all right. Nando, your
Yes.
Peacock experience.
So what I tried to do originally, because I was in bed, I woke up and I didn't want to get out of bed, so I was like, is there anything I can do? I could watch a little bit of this movie on my phone. I've seen it plenty of times in real life, but on a TV screen or whatever. So I'm not going to lose much of the experience watching it on my phone. And it was... So I didn't have any problem with the ads. I was also using the ad-free version, or the ad-full version. But it was just, incredibly choppy. I tried to pause it a couple times to get it to load a little bit ahead, like you would with any, a YouTube video or any video that's not loading super quickly. And, my connection to my house is fine. I was standing right next to my router at one point because I started kind of getting up. But, it just didn't load properly. And I was watching it on a phone, and my phone was good. I don't know what it was, but this app was not playing ball.
All right.
What about you, DJ?
So I watched on my TV app. Now, I applaud the streaming services when they have the app that I could just download onto my TV, because it takes a lot of the, hard work out of it, right? Like Disney Plus, Hulu, even Showtime has a pretty good app for my TV. So I'm like, all right, good. So Peacock has one. I'm like, great. Now, as I mentioned 500 times already, I watched WrestleMania over the weekend, and WrestleMania is on Peacock because WWE moved all their content to Peacock. Now, the way that works is you have to pay the $5 a month to get wrestling because it's the Peacock half premium. But I still have to go through ads. Now, I don't mind ads. I get it, right? You have an ad-supported version, so if I want to watch The Office or even reruns of wrestling events and there's ad breaks, it's fine. I get it. I understand. But, I'm paying $5 a month, $60 a year for this service, and you're putting ads in my movies, and the ad breaks are in awful places. They're in the middle of fight scenes. It's just in the middle of dialogue lines. I have no idea how these ads were placed there. The pausing was janky. That stuff would not take. If I wanted to go back, that was impossible. I think the Peacock app, I'll just speak for my TV. It's only good if you're gonna hit something and play and let it go and don't touch it. Because anything else you try, it's awful. I tried to back out during an ad, and then I wound up having an ad playing 5 times. It was I just had a really bad experience, and maybe that's why I didn't like the movie a whole time, because I couldn't even watch it in a way that made sense. So yeah, I had a hell of a time with Peacock.
Well, you're lucky that the next one of these, because of how this apparently works forever now, is on HBO Go or whatever, or HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Yeah, so we won't need to worry about that for Annihilation. But yeah, I don't know. It's my least favorite of the apps by far to watch something on.
Really?
Yeah.
If I could take out HBO Max for a second. Hey, HBO Max, you guys don't have a app for my TV, and your PlayStation 5 app sucks. So, take that, HBO Max.
And you don't have Mortal Kombat 1 or Godzilla 1, which, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what the point of this whole thing is. If, everybody's gonna own some of the Infinity Stones and nobody's gonna have a full gauntlet, what's the point?
Well, the point is so we don't lose half the population of the world, right?
That's a good point, yeah.
The point is for corporate America to bleed as much money from as many people as they possibly can.
I guess that's possible.
It's working.
And speaking of bleeding as much as they possibly can, let's talk about the movie.
Let's talk about a different movie than this one.
Let's talk about Mortal Kombat 1, the one that we watched. All right, real quick, before we get into it, before we get, into the specifics, what's everybody's familiarity with this franchise and these movies? Start with DJ.
So, I have seen both Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation forever ago. Super long time. I barely remembered this movie. I remember bits. For some reason, the scorpion chain monster, coming out of his hand, that was, seared into my brain. I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, that part never left. And the games, I played the original game. I played it a lot. My cousins had it, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, but it is a great trick to play on your young cousins or siblings, but they just gave me an unplugged controller. I guess controllers don't plug in anymore. You just give them a dead wireless controller, and they'd be like, yeah, you're playing, and I wasn't really playing. And then I didn't buy a lot of the games. I did buy 10. I really liked 10. 10 was pretty good, but I've always just really liked the characters. I always thought Mortal Kombat had a better roster of characters than Street Fighter, just in terms of personality. I always felt the Street Fighter characters were this is okay, but I just found the Mortal Kombat characters, you had a much more diverse backgrounds in terms of who's monsters and powers and certain things like that. So
who's a ninja in a single color robe with black accents.
Yeah.
I love that. So yeah, that's my background with Mortal Kombat.
All right, Diggins, what about you?
I have never seen these movies before. This was my first time ever watching this movie. And I've never been big into fighting games, so I've only lightly touched upon the Mortal Kombat series before. However, like many things in this world, I have approximate knowledge of Mortal Kombat. I know a lot about its lore for no reason other than my brain is filled with useless knowledge. So if you have questions about the Mortal Kombat lore, perhaps I can answer, but my actual interfacing with this series is minimal.
I guess I'm kind of in the middle. I never played the games. I played them, but I never owned them. They're easily maybe my least favorite fighting game. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to default to Street Fighter just because that's the one that Spider-Man hung out with. And then I started playing Tekken. I was a big Tekken fan. And then there was Soul Calibur, and I really liked that. So there really wasn't space for Mortal Kombat. I appreciated it. That being said, I love the movies, and I love the lore, and I've watched the cutscenes from the video games, but never played them. I played the one where they fought the DC universe, not Injustice, but the thing before that.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat versus DC universe.
2008?
Yeah, and it was not, I don't think, very good. It's Green Lantern had 6 combos. It was very a very poor showing from a fighting game, but I don't know.
Did you like sorry.
Did I like Injustice? Yeah. I've never played Injustice. I don't think I'd like it just because it's this, but I like...
It's the same developer.
Yeah.
It's Netherrealm.
And I appreciate them, and I think what they do is fun. I love the character designs. It's never been my... those, I don't know, combos and stuff, and button mashing, and I mean, that's part of all of it, which is why fighting games has never been my favorite. But if they made a Mortal Kombat first-person shooter, sign me up. That's what I want.
You just play Sonya Blade.
Or a puzzle game.
Hunt Kano.
Yeah. Right? That would be so fun. Or an
How could you
action
possibly
game.
hunt Kano when he studied all your moves?
I like these games. I'm very excited for the movie. I like the games, I never played them. Did you guys and I've seen this movie before, Diggins, you've never seen it, and DJ, you've seen it once or twice, but never, they didn't retain too much of it. Did you expect that this would be bad, or the CGI and stuff would be bad?
I will say, I know I trashed it, and I stand by what I said. I'm not trying to reverse course here. It did exceed my expectations. So we'll do Annihilation next week. If I recall, Annihilation is truly awful, so maybe I should have hedged and been this movie's fine, because it's not gonna have the same impact for next week. Because I remember Annihilation is truly awful. It's really, really bad. I think there's one part of the movie where Liu Kang like gets tackled by the camera. It's like so weird. It's supposed to be like a wolf or something. But anyway,
it sounds familiar, but I've seen Mortal Kombat 1 way more than I've seen Annihilation. I've seen Annihilation a couple of times.
Yeah, so like more of that's like in my brain for some reason. So like maybe I should hedge. So yeah, this movie like exceeded my expectations. I'm like, I thought it was much worse than this, when in fact it's just kind of mediocre to bad. But yeah, some of the CGI. I think the chameleon monster is the worst offender.
Oh my god, Reptile looks so bad!
It looks great. Well, okay, what is Reptile? All right, let's get a little bit like Street Fighter, or not Mortal Kombat-y lore and like explanation. This was kind of like it is usually, and this isn't. The thing that I think most of the stuff was like kind of what you'd expect. They all looked about right, and they all knew each other from the same things. In terms of like, this one's from Earth, this one's from Hell. What is Reptile usually?
So, in this original appearance in Mortal Kombat 1, when he was a secret boss character, Reptile was just another ninja palette swap, like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Right. He was just a green ninja palette swap like he appears in the fight in this movie. As the series went on, a lot of the palette swaps got more design variants, as they had more budget and technology to make them look good. Right. And Reptile has, over time, become more of an actual reptile. To the point that these days he's basically a lizard man.
Yeah, that's Diggins, what I thought.
Did, in the original, because I can't remember, did he have the tongue pull fatality, or like the remove mask and like spit acid breath thing?
No, that was later additions. The first Mortal Kombat, Reptile was literally just a palette swap who had both Scorpion and Sub-Zero's moves. He was just a secret character that you could fight if you like knew the code to put in the right stage or something.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
So, yeah, he's a weird one. But everybody else, I think, more or less plays the way you kind of expect, or like does most of their things. Yeah, I don't know. Where do we start with it? What's the story of Mortal Kombat?
Well,
who's the main character of this movie?
That's a great question. Liu Kang?
Liu Kang. I would say Liu Kang.
Yeah, I'd say he's like he's close to the main character. I think this movie does a kind of good job of having three main characters until Sonya gets her revenge, and then her story's kind of over.
Yeah, it's like 2.5.
I would say, yeah, Sonya kind of drops out halfway through the movie, and then it's just Liu Kang and Johnny.
Because they turn her into damsel in distress, which is a rare thing to do to your main character.
It's amazing what they turn her into. They turn her into something quite strange.
Yes.
But the Mortal Kombat is a tournament, correct? Let's talk about the tournament itself. What, Diggins, can you explain what it is?
So, Mortal Kombat is I don't know if they ever give a specific number, but every generation
I don't think it's set. Yeah.
There is a tournament between the greatest warriors of every realm. In the Mortal Kombat universe, there are multiple realms. There's Earth, there's Outworld, there's Netherrealm, there's others, I'm sure, but I don't know them offhand.
Jotunheim, Valheim.
Yep, exactly. So they all get together and they have a big tournament. And if one realm wins enough times, then they have the right to invade another realm, I guess. And this specific iteration of it, Outworld has been fighting for the right to invade Earthrealm, which is our world. And they have to win 10 times to be allowed to invade, and they have won the past 9 Mortal Kombats. So this is the last one before they get to invade.
Now,
who set those rules?
Yeah, who makes those rules?
Oh, there's some kind of like the outer gods or something. I forget exactly what they're called, but there is actually a force that does maintain this.
And how does Raiden fit into all this?
Raiden, I think, is a a god of Earthrealm who helps like maintain and administer the Mortal Kombats, and he obviously is in favor of Earthrealm because he is their guardian. But
like
I don't think
Thor,
he's
right?
like he's not like in charge.
He has like Thor vibes, right? Just because the idea that like he has to protect us, and
He's the
his
god of
thing
lightning.
is thunder and lightning.
Yeah. Okay. So does he always recruit our guys?
He is usually, as far as I understand things, usually one of like the organized / coach figures for the good guys in Mortal Kombat.
Okay, cool. So we have a roster of guys from Earth.
Yes, and gal.
And gal, whatever, of fighters that are decided upon by whoever shows up.
I mean, I think you're supposed to get an invitation.
Right. So, from who, though? Shang Tsung seems to invite most of these guys.
Yeah, this is the
he
part
invites
of the
Johnny,
movie's
right?
plot that I don't
And Sonya,
understand.
kind of.
I don't understand why Shang Tsung is recruiting the Earthrealm fighters instead of Raiden. That
Yeah.
part does not make sense to me.
Raiden seems to want them because he, knows who they are and stuff. And
Yeah. It seems like Shang Tsung should not want them because they are the best fighters in Earthrealm. He should want the less good fighters to show up.
Yeah, it's true.
now it'd be amazing.
What if he just picked the three of us to fight in Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat?
If they all showed up and they all stunk. And Raiden's just what did you do, Shang Tsung? And
Is it that villain hubris where it's I'm so strong I can defeat their best warriors, and or is it part of the tournament structure where it's well, you gotta recruit the best ones? Or else it
I mean,
doesn't
Shang
count.
Tsung's whole thing is that when he defeats somebody in combat,
yeah.
he gets to absorb their soul. So maybe he wants good fighters to show up so he can steal their souls and become more powerful himself.
Well, I think that explains. I think Sonya makes sense as Kano just wanted her to show up, kind of. So she's got an in with the whole thing. Liu Kang and Shang Tsung have a beef. It's Johnny Cage that I can't quite figure out, because we know that he's the best fighter in the world. Kind of. He's up there.
He's one of.
But no one believes that he is, besides him
Yeah.
and Shang
And his friend
Tsung.
Art, who shows up in 2 scenes.
Yeah. Wait, that's the guy who dies, the fourth guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't know. Wait, okay. So just Johnny Cage is just one of the best fighters, and Shang Tsung is let's get him over here so I can steal all his soul.
His great fighting. Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Good boy
I
fighting soul.
I don't think the movie does a very good job of explaining this.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Now,
I
yes.
said the plot of this movie's nonsense.
That's true.
I
That is
am
a
not
thing you
prepared to
said.
defend this movie's plot.
once they all get on the island, I think the plot works. And even once they all just decide to go to the island, I think it all more or less makes sense. Almost for Shang Tsung, it's I could see it being a rule that it's just well, you have to get good guys, because if 3 or 4 scrubs show up, then we're not going to count it. What would be what the gods would say. So I get Shang Tsung needing to put together a at least respectable squad.
It's how a Vegas dealer could never tell you to hit on 20. It's they're not going to do that. That's just rude.
Can the Vegas dealers tell you to hit on anything?
You could ask them, and they'll be here's what you should do, and they'll just give you a basic statistic odds. 51% this is better, right?
They'll be are you sure? But they will do it if you insist.
Yeah.
I like those guys.
Right.
They seem cool. I think then it seems like inviting Liu Kang and Sonya Blade makes sense. Inviting Johnny Cage is maybe the biggest mistake he's ever made. Shang Tsung.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because
Johnny Cage isn't the one who wins in the end.
Yeah, he doesn't throw a huge wrench in the plans. He defeats a guy who was Shang Tsung's ringer, and that's kind of a bummer. But that's as far as Johnny Cage is a nuisance.
Well, yeah, but at least with the other guys, you get a little bit of emotional the stuff that gets thrown in where it's like, all right, I get a risk here where it's like maybe Liu Kang will beat me, but also maybe I can like use my trickery to like kill him, or if I win, I get his soul, and that's great because I want all the souls of his family or people from that monastery or whatever. But with Johnny Cage, it's just like, here's this really strong, like, great fighter who has no attachment to anybody. I don't seem to know too much about him. And he manages to kill the most dangerous fighter in the tournament that's in the tournament until Shang Tsung decides to call an audible. I don't know. It just feels like he's the one that you could have not done, and then it would have been fine. How many people are even competing from each side?
Oh, it's so unclear. I don't know. Like, not every guy has a shirt that's like, I'm from Outworld, I'm from Netherworld. Like, they don't have uniforms. I gotta say, this real helpful thing that Black Panther did real early on, the movie, is like super clear from the get-go who the tribes are and what their deal is. Because every tribe looked different, and they all have like their own unique flair. Whereas the guys in Mortal Kombat are all just guys in red shirts. They got some different weapons, but they're all guys.
But like,
well, in this first one, I think Outworld and Earthrealm are the only ones that matter.
Yeah, like, but then, so who's Kano fighting for?
Oh, he's just fighting to fucking kill Sonya. It seems like he made a deal with
Shang Tsung.
So
yeah, he's not part of our team.
I think he's fighting for Outworld. Yeah.
That's some bullshit, man. We got 4 guys, and they got all these extra guys, and a guy from Earth? What the fuck?
I mean, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are also from Earth.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. But they're not fighting for Earth, I don't think.
No, they're not fighting for Earthrealm.
They're like demons, though, so they're like from hell. I'm talking about like from Earth.
No, they're people.
I thought they were demons.
Nope. They are both human ninjas. Scorpion was killed and has come back from the dead, so now he's like a zombie ninja. But he was originally just a person from Earthrealm.
Huh. I assumed Scorpion lived in Outworld after he comes back from the dead and works for Shang Tsung.
He's kind of like brainwashed, I think. Or I think in the first game, he's actually just like a rogue undead ninja who wants revenge on his killer, who I believe is Sub-Zero.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then, so, what about Shang Tsung? Is he from Earth as well?
No, Shang Tsung is from Outworld. He's Shao Kahn's sorcerer.
Yeah, but, so I'm looking at his Wikipedia page now. It says he's from Earth, from China. And he just went to Outworld. Yeah.
Oh, huh.
So,
betrayers in our midst.
I guess, like, it's like, you know, maybe this has changed over time. But, like, yeah, I don't know. So it just seems like, I just don't know what Outworld is. What's the Outworld? Because the Outworld team appears to be everyone but our 4 earthly characters that are, like, the main guys, plus Princess Katana. Although, I don't even know what she's really doing there. But...
Well, she is from Outworld. She is Shao Kahn's adopted daughter. I guess she's there just to watch.
But she fights.
But I don't think that's an official fight since it's not to the death.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But it seems like she wants Earthrealm to win. Like, so I guess that's all I'm saying is like, so we got she wants Earthrealm to win. Our 4 guys want Earthrealm to win. Kano, you know, Sub-Zero, Goro, Scorpion, Reptile, all those other dudes that our guys fight that are like, you know, that like that one black guy in the beginning who I want to say Johnny Cage fights maybe or something. Like, those guys are all from Outworld? Why do they have so many guys?
Maybe it's based on, like, population. Maybe Outworld is a population of, like, 100 trillion people.
Oh my god, that's so bullshit. I mean, yes, but also, that sucks for us.
I mean, it's clearly a quality, not quantity thing. Also, I would like to say, I'm transitioning slightly, but I wish that there were more clear rules on how Mortal Kombat worked, because it seems like just a bunch of fights, and then Shang Tsung's like, I fight now, and then that fight, you know, happens. And it makes you wonder, like, does the previous parts of the tournament even fucking matter? It's not a big bracket, right? I mean, it's a big bracket.
It's not a big bracket in the game either. It's just a line of guys you have to fight. Like, it's not a
true
tournament. It's just a gauntlet, if anything. Well, okay. Let's chart our main characters as, like, paths through the tournament. So, we got Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, and Sonya Blade. Also Friend. I forget his name, but I'm calling him Friend. So Liu Kang and...
Art Lean.
What's his name?
Art Lean.
Is that from something?
That's so clunky.
No, I think they just made it up.
So, I'll take it. So, Liu Kang and Johnny Cage both have one non-main character fight in the beginning to kind of get things rolling. I think, right? And they both win their fights.
Yeah, it's just to give us a little sweetener.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Sonya Blade immediately fights Kano.
Yeah, we get to her emotional climax so fast. And it makes sense insofar as the writers were like, all right, we'll get her arc done in an hour so we can have her do that thing we do with all female characters we don't know how to write for the last 40 minutes.
Yeah, but also...
Chef's kiss.
So what's the deal with... Can someone explain Kano to me? In the movie, not in the game.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, he's definitely just a gangster.
Yeah, he's just some criminal who killed Sonya Blade's partner, who is not Jax. It's another partner.
That's right. I know. Trust me. I have the novelization of Mortal Kombat here with me. I know. I forget what that guy's name is. It's in the beginning of the book.
I guess it seems like Shang Tsung has promised him some kind of power in the post-Shao Kahn Earthrealm in exchange for his cooperation. Because Shang Tsung seems to specifically want Sonya Blade to show up for reasons that are never made clear.
Yeah. But then, okay, so in the world of the movie, does Kano's eye thing come from Shang Tsung?
No. He has that in the club.
But where'd he get it? Well, he knows Shang Tsung in the club, too, I assume.
From the same place Jax gets his robot arms.
Where does Jax get his robot arms in the movie?
Well, he doesn't have them in the movie.
Right, but I think he does in the next one.
Sorry, spoiler.
But,
I mean, that's fine. If you're gonna have Jax actually be a character, then he's gonna have the robot arms.
Yeah, but then where does he just have that?
Yeah, it's just he went on the illegal underground cyborg surgery market, and he bought his weird faceplate.
And it does nothing.
Why is it eye? Like, if it was a cybernetic eye, sure, but what's, the rest of it for? Like, was that part of his face, fucked up, so he had to get the whole thing? Like, why not just the eye?
Because it looks cool.
I mean, I'm willing to bet that... I feel like it's something else. I think, Sonya Blade shot his eye out or something like that. And he needed to fix his whole face from that, and that's why he hates her so much. I'm not positive, but I think that's... I don't remember. But, yeah. But, I mean, in the game, he could shoot lasers out of his eye, right?
Yeah, he can. It's one of his fatalities.
Yeah. But he doesn't do that in here.
It's a bummer, because that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
See, I think everyone needed and I don't know if there's time for it. There's probably parts you could shave and replace or whatever. But I think everyone had needed a warm-up fight so you could see them do their coolest thing. Like, watching Kano, laser a guy would have been fucking awesome. So...
Yeah, it seems like in the new movie they're gonna do those things. Like, everybody's gonna have a moment to do whatever their fatality is. Unless it's stupid, then they won't. But, all the cool ones like that, I feel like will happen. I mean, isn't Kano the one who rips your heart out or something?
Pulls your spine out?
I think he rips your heart out.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, pull your spine out is definitely Scorpion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, you're right.
Kano's got all kinds of cool shit. He doesn't do any of it. In this, he is an Australian man, wisecracking, fast-talking, eats lots of, food Australian man, who has a knife, which, okay, what do you think what do you think they tell you before Mortal Kombat starts?
The only rule is, there are no rules.
Right? You'd imagine.
Could I bring a gun to Mortal Kombat?
Definitely.
I mean, you can in the game.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like that would be a good thing to bring to fight Kano, at least. Probably a lot of these guys.
Use your fucking gun.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the Dragon Ball universe, where if you get good enough at fighting with your fists, you're actually more powerful than a gun.
That's true. Well, Kano has a big old knife. He's one of the first fight we see, I want to say, is Liu Kang and some guy, and they both have big sticks. And they have, a stick fight.
Yes.
And that was my part where I was like, why... I thought they were just fighting. But then you're like, well, I guess Scorpion has like his whip kunai thing, so like that's, you can't really separate that from him, and I guess Kano
has his ice powers.
Yeah, so I guess you get to go in with whatever, but then it's like these Earth guys just got nothing. Besides, like, obviously, they should have things in the game, and one of them kind of almost gets them. But besides that, they're just guys. Like, they should definitely have guns or something. I don't know. It feels like it's cheating that all these guys get to play, but Ryden doesn't get to play. He should get to play.
Well, in the second one, they have Kung Lao with his razor hat.
Yeah. Now, he is Liu Kang's friend, I want to say, right, usually?
Yes.
They're from the same monastery.
They seem to have kind of combined Liu Kang and Kung Lao in this movie, because Liu Kang says he is the descendant of the great Kung Lao, which is actually Kung Lao's role in the games. He is the descendant of the great Kung Lao.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, it definitely does. But yeah, so I think they kind of combined the two characters in this one for some reason.
Love it. I mean, it's fine. I like Kung Lao's one of my favorites. He's got a cool hat with a big blade on it, and that's fun. That's very fun. Compared to like Liu Kang, who just kind of
who is just Bruce Lee. He's just Bruce Lee.
Yeah, he has no shirt on. He's really cool. Yeah, and let's talk about our main character. So what's Liu Kang's deal?
Well,
he ran away from his destiny to America.
Yeah, he be sad.
And then Shang Tsung killed his brother. I guess to make him go fight in the Mortal Kombat, I guess?
I guess so, yeah.
Which is awful.
Like, if Shang Tsung wanted to, could he kill someone? Like, yeah, he can, right? He could kill you outside of the Mortal Kombat and steal your soul.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does to the kid.
He stole Liu Kang's brother's soul. That's confirmed at the end.
So why didn't he just do that? I don't know. He's a weirdo.
Well, it is, Diggins said, and he's absolutely right. If you think about the plot for a minute, it just falls to pieces. And this movie is not here to answer your plot questions, Nando. It's here to do flippity kicks, and I think that's it. I think it's here to do flippity kicks.
I will not have it. The plot all works if there's all you need is some sort of like rule about what Mortal Kombat is. That it's like you can't, if you do a kill during Mortal Kombat, it counts better.
We don't have that, is the thing.
And now, so okay, so that's Liu Kang. Sonya Blade, like we said, a deadliest woman ever, played by Veronica Vaughn from the from Happy Gilmore, or Billy Madison, and partnered with Jax, hates Kano. That's their whole deal. Who's our other main character?
Johnny Cage, baby. Famous Hollywood actor who everyone thinks is a fraud who doesn't do his own stunts, even though that would be a very easily confirmed thing if he does his own stunts or not.
Right? Like, it's not like the movies are real. Like it's not like they're CGI. You'd assume people could just be like, no, I was there. He did it. He did the stunts.
I mean, yeah, the first scene we see of him is of him doing his own stunts in the middle of a shoot. Like, all those people on that set can confirm, like, yeah, that was him. There wasn't like a double or anything. He's really doing that.
Just invite every reporter to a filming and be like, yeah, here it is. Here you go.
But he has the much more sensible decision that the best way to prove that he's the real deal and not just some coddled actor who doesn't do his own stunts is to go compete in a deadly tournament in Hong Kong that nobody knows about.
Yes. That is correct.
Now,
because his old master comes and tells him about it. Except it turns out it's not his old master, it's Shang Tsung. Oh.
Now, Shang Tsung... Okay, so Johnny Cage doesn't know any of these people, right?
Nope.
No. And it's clear because... real quick. So, Johnny Cage won me over so early... so there's like the fun thing when they all meet at the boat, right? And Liu Kang comes up and, he thinks that Liu Kang's like, like a bellhop or whatever. And he gives him like $5. He's like, carry my luggage on the ship. And Liu Kang is like, you want me to carry your luggage on the ship? And Johnny Cage's like, yeah, it's your job. That's why I gave you money. And Liu Kang goes, okay. And just takes his luggage and throws it into the like fucking river.
Oh my God.
The ocean, perhaps?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair, the ocean, right? And do you guys remember what Johnny Cage said?
Yes, it's good. I liked this.
I can't remember. What is it?
let's have Diggins say it with your best Johnny Cage, Diggins.
Okay.
So I'll set it up. So I'm gonna be Luke Kang. So you want me to throw put your luggage under the boat? Picks up luggage, throws it into the ocean.
And Johnny Cage just like walks over, watches it sink into the ocean, then like looks at Liu Kang walking away, then like turns half to the camera and goes, "Good thing I didn't ask him to park the car."
No, yeah.
Such a good line. And he delivers it perfectly. Like, perfectly.
He doesn't even sound mad. He's just like, wow.
Right? I found Johnny Cage to be very endearing because I never found him to be overly a dick. Like, just kind of a dick.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little, like, weird with what's her name?
Sonya?
Yeah, Sonya. But also, it's weird. It's weird knowing, like, I feel like for someone who doesn't know what their deal is, usually it comes off as a little much. But, like, they're supposed to have a beautiful baby, and, like, they're together forever, if I remember correctly,
That's actually
games.
Not until late in the games, in Mortal Kombat 9, when they reboot the series they do the Star Trek thing of they reboot the series by Raiden does some time travel and tries to fix things. And that's how they do the series over. And in that timeline, Johnny Cage and Sonya have a kid.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so, like, it's a little weird, but he's, like, the worst. I mean, like, he's great. I don't know. I think it was a part of the 2000s where or 90, like the 90s, you had to have a guy like that, kind of. Not like you had to, but every game, or every movie had one, where it's just, like, cool, and he flirts too much with the women, and the women just go, oh, this Johnny Cage guy.
I do think they kind of hit the right balance of, like, is kind of a dipshit, but isn't unlikable.
Mm-hmm.
I think, too, what Johnny Cage does, and, you know, I don't know if this is true in the games, but he's like the connection to the, like, quote-unquote Western world, because, right, Mortal Kombat has such an Eastern aesthetic to it, and how it goes about, so, you know...
For a game made by Americans.
Exactly, right? But it's like, all right, let's pander to our American crowd. We're gonna get the Hollywood actor who's also a fighter.
Right.
Like, that's what we're gonna do.
Do you guys know who Johnny Cage is named after?
So I do, and I think DJ does not know this, so...
Is it Nicolas Cage?
It's not that hard to figure. It is Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
they specifically gave him the last name Cage after Nicolas Cage.
Well, it's so
Which
funny.
isn't even his real last name, so it's funny.
Yeah, it's Nicolas Cage because Nicolas Cage is named after Luke Cage, the comic book character, and then apparently Johnny Cage's fighting style in this game, according to the developers, was patterned after. You want to guess who?
Luke Cage?
Is it Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No, it's Danny Rand, the Iron Fist from the comics. They used Iron Fist as a reference for what their white guy doing kung fu would be like. So the Heroes for Hire runs deep in these characters. It's the most, the coolest Luke Cage and the coolest Iron Fist ever brought to screen. Maybe not Luke Cage, definitely Iron Fist.
You're not willing to go to bat for the Iron Fist Netflix show?
No, not for the Netflix show. Definitely, I'll give the Luke Cage show, it had its moments. The thing about it that I think is so strange, if I remember correctly, in the original games, Johnny Cage was just kind of a guy. Like, he had a little bit of doofiness to him, whatever. And then they really cranked that up to 11. I'm gonna guess around Mortal Kombat 9 as well, when he turned into, like, a complete dork.
Oh, yeah. He's a total dork in 9, but he's also one of the biggest heroes of 9. He's one of the only original characters who makes it all the way to the end of that story game.
And
that game story. Yeah.
Is he pretending to be a dork so that people don't take him seriously, or is he just both a dork and a great fighter?
He's just a dork and a great fighter.
Okay. That makes sense.
You know, when you're dorky way into great fighting, it's just like, oh, wow.
I mean, I love
hero.
him. He's great in this, and I think the thing that stuck with me the most with him is what happens at the end of the movie with him. But I think he's just got a lot of great stuff overall, and I like that character. It's a shame. I think that's one of the only... let me think real quick. Yeah, I think that's the only main character from the original game that's not going to be in the new movie.
Oh, really? No Johnny Cage?
No Johnny Cage. Yeah, everybody else. I think Sonya Blade is in there.
She is in Annihilation.
No, yeah, but I think she's in this. I think she's in the new one. She could not be in the new one as well.
Oh,
yeah, but I know all the rest of them are, and a bunch of other ones from 2 and forward. Obviously, like Kung Lao is in there. I think Reptile's in there. I want to say like Smoke or Cyrax or one of the ones that doesn't need to be played by an actor is in there.
Cyrax is just Reptile.
Well, isn't Cyrax the robot?
Yeah, Cyrax is the robot. Or is that Ermac? I think
Both.
there's 2 robots.
I'm pretty sure there's 2 robots, yeah.
I think Cyrax and Ermac are both robots.
Yeah, so I'm not positive which one it is, because I think Reptile's also in in the new movie, but I think the robot is as well.
So Reptile is Syzoth, which is the worst.
Oh, okay.
Like, why is that his fucking name?
Yeah. Cyrax, I think, is like the robot with dreadlocks that are wires, kind of. Like, that's his design. And he has a face similar to, like, the ninja face, where, like, you could see him from a distance on a poster and be like, it's somebody. It's one of them. But it could be Smoke, it could be Saibot, it could be any of them. But
do you guys, throughout all of Mortal Kombat, have a favorite character? Like, either to play or based on, like, their background? Like, do you have a favorite character?
I mean, Johnny Cage would be my favorite in a movie like the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's a real dork and he's a doofus, but that's kind of the fun of it. I don't think that movie would take him super seriously. So I don't know. As an Earthling myself, I have a affinity for our earthly heroes. I think there was always something about Jax and big robot arms that really got me. That was always fun as like a thing where it's like, what's this guy's deal? Oh, he's best kung fu fighter. He can do flips and shoot fire. And what's this guy's deal? He's got big old arms and he punches real hard. And he's also got a bunch of guns, smokes cigars. Jax is great. I like Jax. Also, all the rest of them. They're all amazing. Also, not the one that's a big man of I forget his name. The one who's like a Aztec god or something. He feels a little weird to me.
Oh,
Kotal Khan.
Kotal Khan. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like that's when the expansion got a little much. Where you know who I like? I like the guy who has a sword that he can control with his mind. That guy's cool.
Takashi.
Yeah. And I like
Takahashi.
You know who else I like? The one that's McCree. I like him too. I don't know what his deal is, but you know what I'm talking about? Just a cowboy with a mask on and he's McCree.
Oh god, I forget his name.
That's all I got. I know that's in there somewhere. But is Takahashi or whatever, is he blind as well?
Yeah. So there's two Takahashis, if you can believe it. You're referring to Kenshi Takahashi, who, yes, is a blind telekinetic swordsman.
Amazing.
And he's fucking great to play. He's like an awesome guy to play.
Yeah. I would say, okay, if I have to pick just one guy, I think my favorite in terms of gimmick and all of the things they bring to the game is Kung Lao. I think the big blade hat is really cool. I love the fatality where he spins it, throws it on the ground, and pulls you feet first and splits you in half. What about you guys?
So, Diggins, do you have one that you'd like to share?
I don't know that I really do, to be honest. Like I said, I've never really played these games, so...
All right, fair enough.
Limits my exposure.
What about you, DJ?
I really liked Molina. I thought she always had like a really cool like fighting style, and I think in some of the games they gave her like weapons. Like I think she had a longsword at one point.
She has size usually,
and size are the big one. But yeah, I like always really liked playing her. She's one of the bad guys, and I find the bad guys to be more fun than the heroes in Mortal Kombat typically. So yeah, I always like really liked Molina. So and like her color's like magenta, and like I always like that's a good color. So yeah,
I mean that's most of the identity of most of these characters is what color their identical
what color
outfits
are you
exactly? So pick the one you like the best
true.
and find that guy in the game, and that's your favorite.
Yep, exactly.
I mean the fun thing about Johnny Cage, and you get this in the movie a little bit, besides that he's the dork. And I don't know, Diggins, we were talking about this before the show. Do you want to talk about the history of Johnny Cage? Why he's so great?
I don't remember what we talked about that you're referencing, just that haven't we covered his history? Oh man.
Did we? Quick, Diggins, quick. Lie. I don't remember. I think we did. I don't think we talked about it on the thing. We said he was inspired name-wise by Nicolas Cage. But what's the rest of his deal, kind of?
Oh, do you mean the origin of Mortal Kombat as a series?
Yeah,
in general?
kind of. But it's specific to him. I think he was the first character created based on that, like,
it's possibly.
Yeah.
So originally, Mortal Kombat was supposed to be a video game based around the work of Jean-Claude Van Damme. And you can see a lot of that in its DNA, specifically the movie Bloodsport, in which Jean-Claude Van Damme travels to Hong Kong to participate in an illegal underground tournament where they fight to the death.
That does sound familiar as something. Tekken. It sounds like Tekken.
Yeah, I like Tekken.
Also,
or a movie he was actually in, Street Fighter.
Yeah. He was in, the game was originally they were going to call it Kumite. That was going to be the name of Mortal Kombat before so like the legend is that there was just some guy who was like, it was going to be called Fatality, I think was the name they were really like edging towards. And someone was like, call it Combat. That's cool. And then almost like Justin Timberlake, another guy came in and was like, drop the C, add a K. It's slicker or something like. But it was like originally. I think it was originally called Fatality. But yeah, I read that Kumite was one of the names, which is what they chant in Bloodsport. For people that have never seen Bloodsport, which watch Bloodsport, but yeah. But it is interesting too, like you were saying, because it's what's his name, Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was not in this game. It's a game based off of Jean-Claude Van Damme, and it seems like Jean-Claude Van Damme may have wronged them to some extent or something like that. I don't know if there's like bad blood between the Mortal Kombat people and the Jean-Claude Van Damme people, but it seems like they made a Johnny Cage to be kind of an idiot in the beginning. Like, he wasn't a cool guy, and he dressed like Jean-Claude Van Damme, and like, I don't know, it kind of feels like they were like, you know what, Jean-Claude Van Damme doesn't want to be in our video game. We're gonna make the character that looks like him the dumb one. Everybody else is cool.
Well, like, no joke, was there any, I guess that's in reference to the game, but was there any anger that he was in Street Fighter and not Mortal Kombat, the movie?
The Street Fighter thing is amazing because they made the Street Fighter movie and then they made a real motion or whatever they're called game of Street Fighter, the movie, where like pictures of Jean-Claude Van Damme were used for a Street Fighter game. So like, even though he is the genesis of Mortal Kombat as a game series, he was never in it, but he was in Street Fighter, which is super weird. But he I mean, he does the like split and punch and groin thing, and that's like a Jean-Claude Van Damme thing. But it's weird how much of a goof Jean-Claude Van Damme usually is, but like he had a lot of range back in the day. He's very fun in Kickboxer. Not as much Bloodsport. He's kind of just a cool guy who does punches, but I don't know. He's got a lot of charm.
I have to admit, I have not seen a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, now that I think about it.
Have you seen any of them?
I've seen Bloodsport.
Time Cop? How about Time Cop?
I've never seen Time Cop.
It's a good one. Did you see that movie they did where it was like Jean-Claude Van Damme's life, the wrestler? I'd say it was called Jean-Claude Van Damme. He made a show where he was a super spy filming movies. That was pretty fun. Yeah, that was the whole bit. It was like Jean-Claude Van Damme, retired action star. He's always actually been a spy. So we're going to send him to places and do movies, but really do spy stuff. He's very, very self-aware. Yeah. Molina's not in this one. I think Molina's in the next one of these, right? No,
I believe, yes. Yeah. I believe is. And if I'm remembering correctly, interesting actor choice. Not a name, but just as an actor. Ooh, boy.
Oh. Well, She's in the new movie as well, in the one that's coming up, but Katana is not.
That's bizarre, man.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you do Mortal Kombat without Katana.
But
I mean,
sense.
But Molina is a clone of Katana, so how do you do Molina without Katana specifically?
That's a great point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What's the deal with Sub-Zero, by the way? Can anybody explain to me Sub-Zero's backstory?
Okay. So the first Sub-Zero is an assassin with a clan in China who had previously killed Scorpion. and he is sent by his clan to the Mortal Kombat to kill Shang Tsung. Now, in this movie, that's all kind of glossed over, and they're just kind of here to be boss fights.
Yeah.
The two of them. But that is the original Sub-Zero's backstory. Now, the Sub-Zero in the rest of the games is that Sub-Zero's brother, who is a much better person. He isn't an assassin or a murderer. He's just like a good dude who fights for Earthrealm.
Right.
And so Scorpion kind of decides to let the whole grudge go once he meets him.
The other Sub-Zero is a character in the future, right? Or something? Like the original one?
I think
Is that who Saibot is?
I think he's related to Noob Saibot.
Okay.
I can't remember.
That makes sense. What's the deal with that Saibot? So Saibot, there's a character in this game called Noob Saibot in Mortal Kombat. Is that where the name Noob comes from?
I don't know.
I have to go to know your meme. But that
I
would
always
be crazy
assumed it was newbie, like.
I think they're unrelated. Right. Noob Saibot is name that because it is the two creators of Mortal Kombat's last names spelled backwards, Ed Boon and John Tobias.
That makes more sense.
So I think it's just a coincidence.
Huh.
Yeah, it just seems like noob came from newbie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Okay,
I mean,
yes.
It makes sense.
Noob
It's a great
Saibot
word.
is the original Sub-Zero resurrected by Quan Chi.
Okay. Yeah, so that's fun. Which fights in this movie stood out to you as the best ones?
Ooh.
The answer is the two where the movie decided to play the theme song, because those two were the best two. Nah, they were okay.
I really liked the Johnny Cage Scorpion fight. I thought that one was pretty cool.
The one in hell or whatever?
No, they're in a forest.
No, they were
they're in a
two,
forest and then they teleport to hell. It's the same fight.
Yes, right. So, I gotta be honest, Johnny Cage probably loses that fight if they're not in a forest. You know what I mean?
But then they're not in a forest for the second part. They're in hell.
Yeah.
No, but all right, if the fight starts in hell, Johnny Cage gets fucked by the fucking chain thing. 100%.
Hey.
For sure.
Hey, DJ.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
Fair point. I'm just saying.
I mean, Johnny Cage has... So, he's just... I feel like the spear, whatever it is, the little chest burster that Scorpion keeps in his hand, which isn't usually a guy. It has a mouth.
It's just a chain.
It's just a spike, right? Yeah. So that thing, I feel like Johnny Cage, as long as he's able to dodge it once, it's not that big of a deal, you know? You dodge it, you go for him, you get him. Now I think that's kind of how it is in the game. He's slings it out, but if you don't get hit by it, now he's kind of available for punching.
You gotta duck. It's all about ducking.
I do like that fight as well. I want to say Johnny Cage tricks Scorpion into throwing the spear at a tree, and then the spear dies, so then he can't use the spear anymore, and then it's just fighting. What is in Scorpion? What's in Scorpion? In his body?
A skeleton?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because he gets punctured, and then he kind of bleeds out fire, and then he explodes. Which
seems
is
to have
he's
got lava in him or something.
Yeah.
Point taken.
Scorpion's sick. Sub-Zero fight, I like a little bit less. Although, it is funny how Sub-Zero is killed by Liu Kang.
Dude. Okay, can we talk about this one?
We can.
Since we're here. This one drives me crazy. Okay, so Katana, this whole time, much to the chagrin of Shang Tsung, is helping, the Earthrealm guys, but, mostly Liu Kang. She's really focused on having Liu Kang get his shit together, which it doesn't even seem like he has a problem. He's kind of, on that whole my brother's dead thing, but Katana's convinced. He's like, Liu Kang, there's something wrong with you. And he's like, oh, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even later in the movie Raiden, it's here are your 3 character flaws. And it's I guess it is, but mostly it's just that they haven't fought the last guy yet. So I think they're all pretty much okay.
the movie hasn't progressed enough to a point where they can overcome whatever it is that's been put in front of them. Because they're like Superman and I guess except for Sonya, whatever's put in front of them, it's fine. So Kitana before the fight tells Liu Kang, right? I forget exactly what she says, but it's like to beat your enemy, you must use the element that creates life.
Yep.
That's like the key phrase. Use the element that creates life. So he's fighting Sub-Zero, and in Sub-Zero's intro, when Sub-Zero fights just a guy, he fucks up the guy. So badly.
He murders that guy super hard.
For no reason. They're all eating dinner before the fight, and Shang Tsung seems to be kind of cool. He's like, enjoy your nice dinner. And then he's like, oh, by the way, goons. And then all his goons come in, flip over all of the tables, and then do a little, like demonstration. The fuck is up with you, Shang Tsung? Let us eat our dinner.
You keep people on their toes, right?
Why even put the dinner out? I don't know. But yeah.
Well, Nando, what is worse? To absolutely deny someone food or to give them pleasurable food just to take it away?
That's a great question. That's what this movie is all about, really. You know,
just giving you something and then taking it away.
Food and how much the characters can eat, how hungry they all are and stuff. And also, I don't know, Kano eats a lot, and look what happens to him. So maybe the food is bad. Maybe you don't want any food.
He also spits some of his food into his water at one point, which was pretty gross, Kano.
Yeah, that was weird.
He's
was
Australian, it's fine. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's very common.
Yeah.
So Katana's telling Liu Kang, element of life, to beat your foes or whatever. So he's fighting Sub-Zero, and for some reason Sub-Zero's not going like all out. Like he's using his ice powers, but it feels like he's not using his ice powers to maximum effect. Just what it seems like, right? So at one point, Sub-Zero gets like a tornado of ice that surrounds him, and it seems like Liu Kang's on the ropes. And then once again, we get Katana. It's like, use the element of life to, beat your foe. And he's like, the element of life, of course. So he sees a bucket of water, which I guess water is the element of life.
They're all kind of the element of life, as far as I'm
concerned.
concerned.
Air is the element of life.
Water was my first thought when she said that, to be fair.
I assumed it was fire, because I just thought, isn't that Liu Kang's thing?
Honestly, same. And I thought opposite of ice, fire. Yeah, I guess
Prometheus and fire, sun. I don't know.
Right.
I would say water
sun,
or fire are both acceptable answers to that question. I guess Earth would have been a little
air,
weird.
Certainly.
Yeah. Molina. I mean, not Molina. You know what, Katana? Just tell him it's water. Tell him use a bucket of water when it's handy. I don't know.
So then, and it's one of those turn your brain off, don't think about it too much. He swings the bucket of water around, throws it into the ice tornado, and then somehow, a big icicle spear goes hurling towards Sub-Zero, pierces him, pins him against a wall, which, it flung him to the wall. He wasn't next to a wall, so it pierces him, and then, he lunges toward a wall with this thing pierced in him, and then it pins to the wall, and then he turns into a big Sub-Zero icicle and dies.
Yeah. What part of that don't you understand, DJ? It was pretty straightforward as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. He spun it around real good and then threw it at him. He threw the water at the guy and then it impaled him. I mean, I would be a little upset if I were Sub-Zero to get killed, hoisted by my own petard.
Your thing!
Yeah. But that's what happens to Scorpion too. He gets fired he explodes and he's like a demon on fire. So that's even maybe more embarrassing, honestly.
I mean, at least he was punched a lot prior. I feel like it would have been if when Scorpion unleashed his little whip, if Johnny Cage tricked him so the whip bit Scorpion's face.
Oh, that would have been cool.
And that's how he was done in. At least I feel like Scorpion went down fighting. Sub-Zero went down like a bitch. That was
impossible.
That was awful.
It's impossible to do. I mean, Liu Kang is just the best. He had the element of life. Honestly, he had cheatery going on. There's something's up with Molina. Did she put that bucket, Katana? Did she put that bucket there? Has this happened before? why is this
clairvoyant?
Yeah, can she see the future? Like in the comics, or not the comics? I say in the comics. There's probably comics too. In the games,
source material.
Yeah, in the source material, she's just another fighter, and she's like we were saying, like the princess of Outworld. But she also has like fans, and that's kind of her deal.
The fans are her best part.
Yeah, but yeah, she's just kind of like she's really weird in this because she's not really in it at all. Except for just to give like these weird little cryptic hints. So
I also don't think the actor is very good. Because again, it's not like, oh well, they got a flippity flipped actor, so it's the best they could do. Katana does know flippity flips in this movie, so get a Christopher Lambert,
God.
Get a good actress, but she's like not good. Because I wonder too, like, oh, are they trying to do a chemistry thing between her and Liu Kang, and that's not there at all? So just like really empty with her character.
Well, okay, let's talk about Christopher Lambert because we've really been discussing him.
Talk about Christopher Lambert.
What's his deal here?
We're going to talk about Christopher Lambert now?
I guess both,
Okay.
really. They're
Why is
intertwined.
Christopher Lambert in this movie?
Well,
Excellent question.
Because he's the big Highlander man, DJ. That's why we got to have Christopher Lambert in the movie. It provides a certain amount of star power that we don't have anywhere else. Except, I guess, maybe Frank Oz.
Okay, I have to take a quick aside. Diggins' Christopher Lambert is his Christoph Waltz.
Uh-oh.
That is not true. You
Uh-oh.
are
This might
lying.
be true.
The
You are
cadence
a
with
liar.
If you see, James, I am the architect of all your failure.
It's me, James,
Like
the architect of all of your pain.
Yes, Liu Kang, I am the architect of all your pain.
It's completely different from my Christopher Lambert, which has started to become Christopher Walken a little bit.
Yeah, is it a Woody Allen now? Where are we going with this one?
Listen, they're completely different voices. That's the point. DJ's is out of line. DJ's way out of line.
Oh,
Listeners
my goodness.
can go back and play the tape, and because Diggins did thank you, he gave us both, so the listeners can go back. They'll tell us.
I can't even believe
How's
this.
Listeners, send a gift to Diggins of either Christopher Lambert or Christoph Waltz of who you think he sounds more like when he does his impersonation.
I'd like that.
DJ, that's a false premise because I do them both flawlessly. So how would they even pick?
That's a good point.
I'll leave it to them to decide.
Well, send either a gif of Christopher Lambert or Christoph Waltz or what is the middle one, which is they're both great, and that one is
Christopher Walken?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Christopher Walken. Let's do it.
Okay, great. So you have three
What
options.
does Christopher Walken
Lambert.
symbolize here?
He's just the
Hold
middle
on, what do
Christopher.
any of these options symbolize if they send them to me?
He's neutral Christopher as far as I'm concerned. All Christophers start as Christopher Walken, and they either become a Christopher Waltz or a Christopher Lambert.
Right, but what are they like? What is the person supposed to be saying if they send me each GIF?
Okay, so okay, ready?
Since when does
Christopher
that matter?
Lambert is if they both sound like Christopher Lambert. Christoph Waltz if they both sound like Christoph Waltz. Christopher Walken if you crush them both and they each sound like who they're supposed to sound like.
That's right.
All right, so I guess I'm going to be getting a lot of Christopher Walken GIFs after this episode releases.
Oh my
So
God,
you
called
think,
them
but
GIFs.
the listeners will decide.
Okay, then Christopher Lambert. Okay, so he's in this movie. He's Lord Raiden. He's mostly he's got like a really Nick Nolte kind of energy coming out of this one. I feel like
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect.
it's weird because it's not necessarily like a drunken master kind of thing, but it's got that vibe of like, oh, he's so crazy, you don't know who.
That would be Bo Rai Cho.
What'd you say?
Bo Rai Cho is the drunken master in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, who's that?
He's a character who's the master of the drunken fist.
Very good. I like him quite a bit then. He's my new favorite. Oh, wait, never mind. What game is he from? Which one does he show up in?
I don't know. I just know he exists.
God, Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Puzzle Combat. That looks like that was his first one. This guy's pretty cool.
That'd be great.
One of his fight moves is Fart Cloud. He farts in his opponent's face, intoxicating them if it hits, allowing for free hits. Great.
Okay.
But yeah, so anyway, but he's like this like weird, unhinged guy. He's got electricity powers, kind of. They don't really
he's the
factor
god of
into
lightning.
anything.
I mean, I think he has full-blown electricity powers. We just don't get to see him.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I guess. Like, he has electricity powers in name only, or like it doesn't...
He uses them at one point. He uses them once.
When does he use his electricity power? I believe you, but I can't remember when.
When Shang Tsung 6, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero on the three heroes on the ship, Raiden shows up and blasts the two ninjas with lightning to be like, you're not supposed to fight before the tournament starts.
I just can't tell which one it is.
Just as a reminder,
you're gaslighting
me.
You're both gaslighting me, and I don't appreciate it.
Diggins, that's not what gaslighting means. I think that Christopher Lambert is the part of this movie that I find the most frustrating. Because...
Oh, really?
Yes. First of all, I don't see what Ryden's part of this movie is at all. Like, he just kind of is weird, but also he doesn't really add anything to the plot. And also, I don't know, just get rid of him. I think Ryden as a character, or Raiden's character is fine. I have no problem with him being in this. But he's like, what's he doing here? Well, he just kind of shows up every so often to kind of explain things that other characters are going to explain later, or other characters already probably know. And yeah, like he doesn't really look like Raiden either. He's got long white hair. Kind of looks like Gandalf a little bit, I guess.
If I were Liu Kang, when I first met Raiden, I would have turned to my grandpa and be like, "Hey, Grandpa, why is our the god that we worship at this like Southeast Asian monastery white? Why is he a white Frenchman?"
Well, he's like, it's like that. You ever heard of those people? I only learned of him recently that thought Prince Philip was their god.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe they're like those guys. Christopher Lambert just showed up once on holiday, and then they were like, oh my god, this is exactly what we've always thought the god would be. A weird French guy who nobody...
That is crazy story, by the way. People should look that up. There's a island nation who thought Prince Philip was like a god. Literally like a god.
Yeah, like they thought they're like holy book or prophecies or whatever were like, a very pale man will marry a rich woman, and he will come and help us or something. And then Prince Philip showed up, and they were like, that's probably him. No other explanation there.
My condolences to them that they must now worship Charles.
I mean, listen, there's plenty of other white men that have married rich women. They've got their pick of the litter. Like, for instance, John Kerry. Why not him, huh? He's pretty white, right? And he married the Hines woman, and she's very wealthy. Also, I've heard Kushner floated as their new god. A lot of good options on the table. Either way, yeah, no, Christopher Lambert is real weird. Also, like, I don't know, he just looks, it really is, the wig looks awful on him. In a way that
it looks
nobody
bad.
else's
It looks
does.
very bad. No, it's nowhere near Liu Kang's glorious mane.
I was gonna say, yeah, between Liu Kang, Shang Tsung, and Sonya Blade, late Sonya Blade, we got some fabulous 90s hairstyles in this movie. Really, characters just going all out. And then you got this weirdo. I don't care for him. But hey.
Yeah, I mean,
he doesn't really matter anyway.
I think the problem in this movie is you're probably better off without Raiden in it, to be honest, because, right, Shang Tsung's recruiting all the guys anyway. But the movie, really, the only purpose Raiden serves is you need to have a guy who's a threat so that everyone doesn't just fucking trash the Earthrealm guys as soon as they come up.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. Yeah. The rules of the thing are that you have to win Mortal Kombat to win.
Yep.
And there are staged fights in the middle of groups of guys, like in the game.
Yep.
But also, there are some other fights that might happen, and those also appear to be part of Mortal Kombat.
Like in forests and such?
Yeah, or like when with the Sub-Zero fight, the Scorpion fight, those both feel like they should be official fights.
Yeah, it's like, is Mortal Kombat the first fight island? Where it's like, because it's not Battle Royale.
No.
It's not, right? Because there's fighters who are also spectators, which is not true in a Battle Royale. But it has the sense of anywhere you go at any given time, you might have to fight a guy, but it's so loosely defined because even when Sonya is like, oh, fuck it, Kano, eventually when they do fight, it's like an official fight. They're not like in a bar and it's like throw down. It's like, all right, we're in the ring, let's fight. So it's very unclear how that shit goes down.
And like, there's a challenge that sometimes has to happen, but also you can just skip it if you don't want to do it. Because some people are at the end, there's a bunch of challenges that are thrown around, and then at the last minute, Liu Kang challenges Shang Tsung, and he's like, you know what? Let's cancel all the other ones. Let's just do this one, because this is what the movie has been building towards this whole time, and that's a good move because it's the best one.
Well, yeah, and Shang Tsung's like, I'm in Mortal Kombat now, bitches.
Well, doesn't Shang Tsung originally challenge Sonya?
Yes,
and then that one just doesn't even happen at all.
Well, he chains her to a wall and changes her outfit, so, you know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Takes her shoes off, by the way. So here's the most important question in all of this movie. Is Shang Tsung a feet guy?
Oh.
Let's think about
Goro
this.
wears no shoes, right? So maybe.
I feel like Kano probably wears shoes, but also Shang Tsung probably isn't about
Not
that.
his guy, though.
Yeah. I mean, he did bring him. Well, maybe that's what Johnny Cage is most known for. Like, yeah, he's a really good fighter, but he's also just got terrific feet. And Shang Tsung recruited him for that reason only.
And yet Johnny Cage doesn't take his shoes off once in the whole movie. Shang Tsung must have been so disappointed.
Yeah, that's how he gets one over on him. He's like, I'll never show you my beautiful toesy woesies, not in a million years.
Oh, God, no. Stop.
Yeah.
Kill me now, please.
So, okay. Yeah, so the tournament, it just like, it feels like the tournament ends when Shang Tsung decides it ends. Like, I mean, once most of the important characters are dead, but also then once that's done, we can all just decide the last fight is happening.
Goro is the champion. He's the one who's won the past 9 Mortal Kombats, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's right.
So, presumably, he would be the final battle. But Johnny Cage, like, specifically challenges him before the end of the tournament and then wins. And then I guess the tournament's over because Goro was defeated? Except Shang Tsung then gets to challenge someone because that was the deal.
Yeah. That feels right.
I've altered the deal once. Pray I don't alter it further.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he doesn't. Johnny explicitly agrees to the idea that Shang Tsung gets to fight someone after, regardless of who wins. Mm-hmm. It's really... He's really not being duplicitous at all.
Yeah. And Johnny Cage, I love Johnny Cage in that moment. That's probably the best part of the movie for me, where Johnny Cage punches Goro in the balls. That's what won me, I think, long term about this movie.
So, I got a question for you. So, Nando, would you like to describe that scene you just kind of talked about, or at least that sequence? Because I have some questions.
Well, so Goro and Johnny are going to fight. Goro, I forget exactly how, either is given or takes Johnny Cage's glasses out of his hand and crushes them within one of his 4 mighty fists.
Yeah, Johnny's wearing them, and he just gingerly plucks them off his head.
Yeah.
His face really, puppetry, wearing them, right?
Puppetry can only do so much. Okay?
Yeah. And then the fight starts, and Johnny Cage does a split, much like a certain other martial artist from movies, and punches Goro right in the nuts. Goro makes that face that people in movies make when they get punched right in the nuts. And then Johnny Cage runs away, like up a like little bunch of rocks, and then outside to a big cliff where he runs up the cliff again, and then like does a bunch of big kicks at Goro, and then says the line that I think was my favorite, which I was kind of waiting for him to say right as the fight started, but he didn't. And I was like, oh. But then he says it later, and he's like, those are $500 sunglasses. And then he punches him, kills Goro, and then he wins the whole tournament up until that point, I guess. What's to be discussed? Yeah, Goro has balls. He's got 4 of them, I would assume. I would assume all humans, all species have 1 ball per arm. So that's why it's so bad for him.
So I
gotta say, it was really lucky for Johnny Cage that Shokuns also have nuts that they also have in the same place as humans.
Yeah, what was his plan if Goro did not have genitalia?
I think Johnny knew he had genitalia. You know,
just knew?
I mean, to borrow a phrase from a certain podcaster, game recognizes game. You know, you walk into a room and you're like, that guy's he's packing. I mean,
big nuts.
Listen, the Mortal Kombat universe.
Hold on. Are you positing that Johnny Cage's superpower is that he can look at any creature in the world, in any of the realms, and instantly deduce whether or not they got a dick?
Oh, that's why he was able to beat Scorpion so well, is because Scorpion has no dick because he is a skeleton. So he was like, I cannot use, or that's why he was at a disadvantage. He was like, I cannot use my one power. I'm punching him right in the dick because it's gone. It's a big, massive molten metal. Like, there's nothing I can do. But with Goro, he was like, aha, it is my time. However, I'm also willing to give this one, I feel like we don't see a lot of Goro moving around and fighting and stuff. But I feel like he's probably, you know, wearing some sheer shorts, if anything. And I feel like everybody knows what's going on there, you know?
You think everyone gets a peek at
He's
the goods?
giving the game away.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, if you're looking for that kind of thing, and if you're Johnny Cage, you're not looking just for fun. You're looking for work too. You're like, I gotta really make sure I know exactly where they are. Hopefully, it's where my fist lands when I do a split and just forward punch. I'm guessing that's what he did. Yeah, and it was amazing. So that's question one. What's question two,
right.
JJ?
So, Johnny Cage performs a number of kicks on Goro and dazes him, stuns him short. And it gets to the point where Goro, right, because they're on like a cliff face, cliff edge. So Goro falls, and very cliche, he's hanging onto the cliff with one hand. Now, he's got three other that are just kind of not doing anything. You would think if any creature would be able to just, like, scale a cliff face, it'd be the one with four arms, right? Like, he shouldn't fall off of a cliff. That's not how Goro's gonna die, right?
You would think that, except, and I can't believe you've already forgotten this from earlier, he just got hit in the balls. So three of those hands were out of commission. really muscularly absorbing the pain of what had just happened to him. And that one hand was barely doing the amount of work necessary to hold it together. Now, what this brought to my mind, have you guys seen the worst ending for Mortal Kombat 3 or 4? I can't remember which one of the games.
I can't recall.
Is this the one with Jax and Sonya and Kano?
Sonya and it's not Kano, it's Jarek, but yes, it's that one.
Oh, sorry.
Where a character is thrown from a cliff and then it turns out they didn't fly off the cliff at all. Everybody should watch it. I'm sure if you Google, like, Jarek, Sonya Blade, Jax, you'll find it. I was wondering if we were going to get, like, an allusion to that, and then I was like, wait, that hadn't come out yet. So, nope. That wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, it's that kind of thing. Just, he gets thrown off a cliff. I mean, Goro beats up that one guy by just punching him a lot. Goro's main thing is, like, you punch him, he catches your hands, and he's still got two hands for punching. And that's pretty good. Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Diggins. You're talking, of course, about his ponytail as his third hand. his
you're saying,
ponytail.
Sorry, he catches both of your hands and then has two hands to punch you.
Oh,
sorry,
yes.
I heard
that's what I
your
thought
hand, and then, so 4 minus 1 is 3.
Exactly.
So that was where my head was.
That's true. That is true.
That is correct.
I'm not disputing that.
Want to just, I'm not positive. I'd like the mostly nitpicking audience. If 4 minus 3 does equal 1, I want you to tweet GIFs to Diggins of the number 1. Just so we can be sure.
Is this just our thing now?
It would only be fair.
It's been our thing for the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So that's all it usually takes. We do things like for 2 episodes, now it's forever.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's pretty good. Speaking of things that are pretty good, last fight in this movie, pretty good.
Yeah, so we get to the point. One thing I will give this movie props for is we don't dawdle for long. We are hurled to the end of this movie, right? So we get the Goro fight, Goro dead, hooray. Oh my god, Shang Tsung's all hurt. So he's like, guess what? I'm in Mortal Kombat now, and I want to fight Sonya Blade. And I guess what that means is I'm gonna kidnap her and take her to Outworld.
Yep.
So Yeah, so that leaves Johnny and Liu Kang with the only option now, which is to go to Outworld and rescue Sonya.
That's right. And when they go to Outworld, what do they find? What to their wandering eyes does appear?
To their wandering eyes does appear, at first nothing, and then, oh my god, and we, like, this is, like, shown up before in the movie, but it wasn't very consequential, but there's, like, a little chameleon monster who's been terrorizing them this whole time.
Yep. Real weird.
Awful. I don't know why this is here. It adds nothing. I mean, it leads to the reptile fight, which, to be fair, like, good fight. Actually, alright, hot take. I thought the Liu Kang reptile fight was better than the Liu Kang Shang Tsung fight.
I think they're both pretty good. I don't know. I didn't have a strong opinion one way or the other.
I just felt the Liu Kang reptile fight was like the most enduring. And there was like a lot of back and forth. And because Reptile doesn't have any powers or like a thing, like he's just a guy, it's the rare time in the movie where it's a not one-sided fight where two guys are just fighting, because it wasn't establishing, oh my god, one of these guys are really strong. It was the like lead up to the climax where two guys are going to fight, but, you know, oh, who knows who's going to win? So there's like a little bit of suspense there. So I thought it led to like a very even, very good fight.
Sure. No, that fight is good.
I guarantee you, Nando, if they played the theme music during it, you would have said it was the best
I probably would have, but it doesn't have the theme music. Now, you know what else I didn't love about this fight? What do we learn about Reptile once the fight ends?
Oh, is he just like a skeleton?
Well, not just a skeleton.
I actually don't remember where this is going.
Full of bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
He's full of bugs. Just like Oogie Boogie.
Yeah. He's the Oogie Boogie man. Well, like, so he transforms into, like, I don't even know how to describe what he does at the end of the movie. He transforms into a statue and then some bugs, and then out of it comes the little reptile body man thing. And then Liu Kang kills that with a big stomp. And then they just continue on in Outworld.
Yeah, the fight with Reptile was actually completely superfluous to the plot.
Yeah,
but it was
just
good.
Kind of, they need him in there.
It's good. I mean, hey, listen, good fights is what this movie has going for it, so I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, point taken that it means nothing toward completing the movie. Would have been nuts if if one of them died, they wouldn't have done that. But like, or if he like chopped off Liu Kang's arm or something, like that would have been interesting, right? But yeah, it's fine.
Or he'd punch Liu Kang in the balls.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, but then
actually,
yeah,
I was just gonna say you could have done a thing where like they realize he's so strong, and Johnny's like, Liu Kang, you go ahead, I'll take care of this guy.
Right.
And then, like, you could cut back and forth between Johnny Cage and Reptile fighting and, like, Liu Kang making his way. Maybe he's just fighting goons on his way to Shang Tsung.
Or you could do what they'd end up doing, but, like, the other way, where someone, like Reptile and him fight, Reptile wins, and then Reptile goes into the you know, the big chamber, and Shang Tsung's like, Reptile, you have won a fight. Fucking finally. And then he's like, just kidding, Reptile's dead. I'm wearing his shirt. I'm Liu Kang from earlier. But it turns out then they just do that with those silly ropes. And pretend to be monks. And no one notices, which is great.
No one cares.
Yep. As long as you pull the last three guys out of the line really quickly, no one recognizes it.
One of the downsides of being in a cult is that it's very easy to intercept, right? To get in.
Yeah.
Infiltrate, that's where it was very easy to infiltrate a cult.
Downsides or upsides, depending on how you look at it.
It's very hard to infiltrate a cult without ultimately joining it. But it's very easy to infiltrate a cult.
Well, Liu Kang also, like, he takes off his robe, and it, like, comes off from the front, as if they're made to do that. It's a very suggestive robe, I would imagine.
Liu Kang has big old muscles, Nando, so it's flawless for him to do that.
That's true. Flawless victory over the robe.
Flawless.
Yeah.
Neither Shang Tsung nor Liu Kang has a good grasp on the definition of the word flawless.
Nope.
No, they don't.
I mean, you can almost say Liu Kang's one is like a joke, kind of, but no, yeah, it's might as well.
Yeah.
All right, so to be fair, the first time Shang Tsung uses it, where Sub-Zero fights the goon, it's correct because the guy did not touch Sub-Zero and Sub-Zero fatality the guy. That's true. A flawless victory.
That's
so
true.
That was correct.
But then
the other times, not so much.
Yeah, all the other times, even a block will defeat a flawless victory. Like if you block, it's not a flawless victory anymore. But yeah, in this it's like just any fight you win, flawless victory.
Well, it's because he subscribes to the Vin Diesel school of victories. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Now, do you want to go ahead and tell me that also sounds like my Christoph Waltz, DJ? Do you think that also sounds like it?
Actually, Diggins, thank you for bringing that up. Listeners, if you think that all of Diggins' impersonations sound like Vin Diesel, send a Vin Diesel gift.
Very good.
And still, if you think they're all exactly who they're supposed to be, Christopher Walken.
And you know what?
I can't believe you've done this.
Send DJ a Michael Caine gift just for fun. You know?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Keep him involved.
Just treat yourself, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Sending gifts are fun.
Gifts are free. The end of the fight, sort of the end of the movie, fight between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung. Shirts off, baby, hair's out. It's time for action. Liu Kang's shirt, or Shang Tsung also takes his big duster off to reveal a sleeveless shirt, and they fight in a area that is the Mortal Kombat symbol.
Yes.
And it has little spikes that can come out of it if they want. Much like
really
the pit
the
from
ante.
Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 and stuff, where if you fall on it, you die on the spikes. Now, then they have to run upstairs to have the real fight over the spikes so that it can be cool. But do you remember what happens at the beginning of this fight?
Oh, no, I don't.
Shang Tsung just summons a bunch of guys.
Oh, yeah.
He uses the souls of his dudes, right?
Yeah. Which seems unfair.
I mean, it's weird, right? Because as Diggins mentioned, we're told that his power is that he gains the ability of the souls that he summons, but it seems they're like Pokemon, where he could just have them appear and fight for him, which is very different. It's not a Dragon Ball Z Cell situation. It's an Ash Ketchum, gotta catch 'em all situation.
Yeah.
So
something like that.
Something like that, indeed.
I think so. I mean, it's weird because he can turn into the little boy later, so he should be able to do that whenever he wants.
I wasn't sure if that was a fuck with him vision kind of deal.
Right, because he can also shapeshift just in general. He does that earlier to trick the guys, so might as well here. So, yeah, the fight is cool. It comes with that big ultimate punch that throws Shang Tsung into the big spiky pit, and then there's little bit of fire. Right?
Yeah, Liu Kang kind of puts some energy, some red glowing energy into his last punch.
Yeah.
Also, Shang Tsung turns into Liu Kang's brother near the end of the fight, but he does it right in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Liu Kang's line of sight transforms into Chan, his brother, and Liu Kang is still oh, are you really my brother? Oh my goodness. Could it be you? He has to really think about it before he realizes that it's just Shang Tsung, even though he literally saw Shang Tsung transform a foot in front of him, maybe?
But is it his brother, though? Kind of? Because it's his brother's soul. Obviously it's not, but, is Shang Tsung, taking the brother's soul out of, a closet and using it as, a little puppet? Because he does have the soul.
I mean, no, I think we are to believe that is just Shang Tsung because he implies that his death was Liu Kang's fault. But then afterwards, when all the souls are bursting out of Shang Tsung's body and he gets to talk to Chan, he doesn't blame him for it.
Right. That makes sense. One interesting thing about this we haven't really talked about. So the actor that plays Shang Tsung, anybody know what other movie not too unlike this he was in?
I do not.
No, I don't.
He played a character in the Tekken movie as well. He is also the big bad of that movie. He is Heihachi.
He plays Heihachi?
Yep. Now, I don't remember how involved Heihachi is in the Tekken movie. He might just be a businessman pulling strings. I'm assuming he gets a fight. But yeah, this guy is both Heihachi and Shang Tsung. So,
oh wow,
pretty solid body of work. Can't do much better than that. The Arcade Machine, like, those are some pretty good guys. Great stuff. End of the movie. How does it end? Boy, what a weird ending it has. So everybody wins, all our heroes, the main four, I guess. And they leave the temple, where they are greeted by Raiden again in like just traditional boring robes, and then a bunch of little kids with flags just running around. So we're all real happy about this. And there's one boy and one girl. Like there's two boys and two girls, so they pair off in love. And Raiden's like, "Way to go, guys! You didn't screw it all up." And then what happens?
Oh, well, it's crazy. It's, the big bad's like, from Outworld's like, "I'm invading anyway."
Yeah.
Get fucked.
Yeah, Shao Kahn decides that whole thing was bullshit anyway. Oh, I'm gonna invade Earthrealm and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, now...
Which is incredible.
When he does this, like, okay, so, what's Shao Kahn's deal?
He's the Emperor of Outworld, but he's not from Outworld. He invaded it like 10,000 years ago or something, and destroyed it mostly, and then became the Emperor, and now he wants to do the same thing to Earthrealm.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, then I guess this makes sense as far as things he would do, since he would like to do that. So good for him, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know a lot of the deeper lore behind Shao Kahn. I think he mostly just wants to control all the realms.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how this plays out in the next movie, because I don't remember what happens in the movie, but it does take off right from here, I believe. Like, I think that's where Mortal Kombat Annihilation starts. So, we will find out soon.
Yeah.
All in all, best movie we've ever done. Can't say
never done a better movie.
Never. We never will. I mean, we might next week, and then maybe the week after that, but never after that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm very excited. One thing I'm really excited for that we've kind of talked about, that I talked with Diggins about, like I said, this movie takes place immediately. Like, the next movie happens right after this one.
Yeah, it's
but a lot of the actors change.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of fun. I can't wait. Yeah, we got a lot of new characters that are going to show up. I'm guaranteed no Christopher Lambert, and I'm pretty sure no Johnny Cage. I don't think Sonya Blade comes back. I don't know about any of the rest of them.
Sonya Blade comes back.
No, but I mean the actress. Sorry, the actress that plays.
I'm sorry. No, it's a different actress.
Yeah, so that's always fun.
So,
and we get DJ's favorite one, Molina. She's in this one.
Woo!
I think is Kung Lao in this one. I can't remember.
Is who?
Kung Lao.
I don't remember.
Right?
I don't think he is.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And then
be too OP with that hat, man.
Yeah, I know Jax will make an appearance in this next one.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week, which I recommend everybody watch, mostly because it's on HBO Max, one of the good ones. Easy to
wrecked,
see.
Peacock.
But no, I mean, I love all of these stupid movies. They're great.
I'd like to say, I know you guys enjoyed the movie, but I think the quality is probably questionable. One of the things, and this is digging back to the old before times, and by that I mean like the mad bracket status times, right? We had posited at the time that there is no good video game movie. I don't know if we've been proven wrong since, but I remember we talked about Mortal Kombat when we did the bracket for like the worst video game movie bracket, and it is like a good reminder, like especially in the 90s when they were first trying this out, these video game movies just like they could not figure out how they should go. Like the fights are good in this, fair enough, but story, plot, some of the actors, it's just like, oof, not good. So some food for thought as we watch Annihilation and then the new Mortal Kombat. We'll see if it's any good at all.
Well, A, everything you just said was wrong. B, I think from the
Whoa!
trailer we can already tell that the new one is at least going to look pretty cool. So I think that's going to help the cool looking part. Who knows how much, if the story is dumb nonsense, but I think the thing with Mortal Kombat with me is, I would be upset if they played the Mortal Kombat movie so straight that it's they try to turn it into a boring drama. I think it has to be pretty stupid, or else I don't care. The goofiness of Mortal Kombat is so important to the movie itself, for me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think Mortal Kombat has ever been a good, serious story. It's always been fundamentally ridiculous.
That's true, yeah. Which is tricky. I don't know. And I think that's a lot of the problem with some of these video game movies is you make a Tomb Raider movie. Well, how silly do you want to make it? Do you want to make it just a, gritty survival-y movie, or because the video games are almost all pretty, they have a lot of silliness in their roots. Sometimes you go with it. Sometimes you try to distance yourself from it. And a lot of the video game movies end up being usually worse for it. But a lot of the times you can't completely embrace it either. So, it's tricky. I've never seen the Assassin's Creed one, but that one looks like a big mess.
It's trash.
The Prince of Persia one I know is a big mess.
Yep, also true.
And the Street Fighter one that isn't the great one, but the one that they made with Kristen Krug, that one is the worst one, maybe. I mean, it is, because that's what we decided in our bracket, but beyond that one just really holds up as it sucks. That one, I feel like with this one, I'm sure when it came out, everyone was like, this is stupid, but it was kind of popular. But then with that one, I'm like, man, no one liked it then, and no one likes it now. It has not aged well, whereas this one, in fact, has, and it's a real treasure. I can't wait for the new one. But, guys, anything else about Mortal Kombat 1? Pre-Annihilation?
Can I read this trivia bit from IMDb? Because I love... Yeah. There's 7 turns in it.
And any other goofs you want to share with the group, I think would be welcomed.
This is the only one I think is worth sharing.
All right, let's hear it.
Originally, in the games, the character of Kano was Japanese-American. However, Ed Boon and John Tobias were so impressed with how Trevor Goddard portrayed him that they retconned Kano's history in future games to make him Australian, which they thought was Goddard's nationality. They later learned that although Goddard gave Kano an Australian accent, Goddard himself was actually born in England, but had claimed to be of Australian descent.
Oh, I like that.
Huh.
What's his Christopher Lambert accent sound like? He probably has a really convincing one. We'll never know.
I already did it earlier, if you remember.
Wait,
I said,
are you the Kano guy?
No, sorry. I thought you were pretending that my accent, if I tried to do Kano's accent, would sound like Christoph Waltz because you're trying to gaslight me.
Well, why don't you try and see what happens?
You can't beat me. I've studied all your moves.
Oh my God! Everyone tweet him gifs of Christopher Lambert and Christopher Walken eating a sandwich. I hope that gif exists.
It's gonna be so confusing.
Perfect. I mean, Australians are the funniest people. I love them so much. All my favorite comedians are not all my favorite, but a lot of my favorite comedians are Australian. And I think they have the funnest accent, and I think it is one that is pretty easy to do. Not to belittle your impression, which was terrific, but just it's such a great accent, Fun for all ages. It's not like it's the messiness is part of it. It's fabulous. So wait, Kano does sound more Japanese now that I think about it. It just as a name. So wait, in the first game, he's Japanese?
I guess, yeah.
Huh. I could see
Well, Japanese American.
Well, is he though? Because he's not Australian American in the game or in the movie, right? He's just plain old Australian.
Right, but it says that they changed him after the movie to be Australian because they liked the performance in this movie so much.
Interesting. That's great. But was he a bad guy?
He was always a bad guy, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
The whole thing of he killed Sonya Blade's partner, I think, was always part of his story.
Right, yeah. Kano's fun. I think Kano's going to be a real treat in this new movie. He really should be. He could be what Captain Boomerang was always supposed to be, Just a wisecracking Australian who doesn't take shit from nobody and probably dies.
Do you think he'll have studied all of their moves?
I mean, I think his robot eye will study them all for him, you know? If it doesn't, then it's a waste of all of our time. I think, you know what else about this movie? All the sayings were in there. Everybody said their thing, you know?
Yes.
Your soul is mine, get over here, all that stuff. Even Flawless Victory, which didn't really make any sense, but still, they said it. Yeah, and the song happened a bunch.
Only the twice. Honestly, the first time I played, I was like, that was kind of a waste. They just fought some goons.
Same!
But then,
right.
But then it played again, and I was like, all right, okay, we're here.
Yeah, I had that same thought, and then right as that last fight was starting, I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then I'll come back for this. And so I was about to pause it, and right before I paused it, I heard the first, like, bump, bump, and then I was like, oh, I can't. I have to. I'm here for this now. It really, it might be one of the best theme songs ever written for anything. Honestly, like, it's so good.
The soundtrack for this movie is the first EDM record to ever go platinum.
Ha! And it should. It deserves it. It rules. Have you heard the new, like, whatever it is, techno bass remix for the new movie?
I have not, no.
It also rules. It's never, you know, it never gets... I love a good theme song where in the theme song it kind of forgets or like runs out of stuff to do, so it just starts naming stuff. And this theme song does that twice. In the beginning, I think they just start naming things that you might say, like Flawless Victory and like stuff like that. And then the second time around, if I remember correctly, they just start naming characters. And it's pretty good. Like, I did see a mashup that I think you would like, Diggins, that I'll share with you in the thing. But, yeah, it's got that, it's got that vibe. Cool. All right, guys. Well, do you want to get to our classic segment?
Would love
I would love that.
All right. DJ, what do you got to recommend to the fine people?
All right. So, I was over the weekend. I was just kind of looking for like a different game to play. I beat Disco Elysium, which I loved.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, won't go through that. I'm definitely going to play it again, by the way. That game just lends itself to replayability. Dickens and I were comparing notes because he beat the game. So yeah, I'd like to go back and remake some choices. Probably not be a racist cop. I'd probably not do that.
Yeah, maybe don't internalize the racism this time. And maybe don't... So that your sweet, beautiful, perfect partner, Kim Kitsuragi, doesn't hate you.
Yeah, not a great choice. So, anyway. So, I was going through Game Pass, and I saw some games that inspired some nostalgia. So they have Age of Empires 2 and 3. Well, they have all of them. They have 1, 2, and 3 on Game Pass. I never played 1. 2 was my absolute favorite. So they have Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. And it's really good. For those who don't know, Age of Empires is a real-time strategy game. So you got your units, and they like kind of do different things. The combat's like a rock, paper, scissors deal, where it's like cavalry beats like infantry, which beats pikes, which beats cavalry. Did I do that right? Anyway,
yeah.
That's how it goes. So you could play like different nations and stuff like that, and like different eras of time. You know where you like start with nothing, and you have to build small buildings into bigger buildings, and small units into bigger units, and you gotta do it before like the other guys do it, and it's just like very fun. If you like real-time strategy games like that, because they're not a ton. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton out there that I don't know about, but I always just like the flavor of Age of Empires. There's actually a new one coming out, Age of Empires 4, which is a different developer, so I'm like a little worried about it, because it's being like it's being developed by Relic Entertainment, which is like a different developer than the old Age of Empires games. But I think because Microsoft just owns everything now, they're like, new Age of Empires, let's do it. So we'll see how that goes. That doesn't come out until like I think fall of this year is projected, so it will probably come out sometime May 2022. Fingers crossed. We just put the way game development happens now.
I mean, if you know, either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain, which could be translated in video games too. Either you die a Balin's Wonderworld, or you live long enough to see yourself become, I don't know, Balin's Wonder. I love Balin's Wonderworld, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's the best game I've ever seen. Have you guys watched anybody play it? DJ, I know you have. Diggins, have you?
I just watched the video.
I have never watched anyone play it. I am familiar with the game.
Oh,
how familiar are you?
We're giving Diggins so much homework.
Yeah, dude,
I mean, I know generally that it was, it did not, it was not a successful game. I know it was made by, oh gosh, what's his name? The Sonic creator.
Sonic guy, yeah, whatever his name is. I mean, I think you could make the case that this might be one of the worst games ever made. Like,
oh my goodness.
For its time and
awful.
like just for what it's, the promise of what it's supposed to be. It, like,
how did I know this would be a donkey video?
It is. Oh, for sure. I mean, everybody's making videos about it now.
I know, but I just meant the video that you guys
sure, yeah.
would share would be a donkey video.
It's funny. I heard about it from something else. I can't remember where. I think I just saw some random video on it. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then yesterday, I think I was watching that donkey video. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And then today I watched like 3 extra videos of it. People playing it, Donkey's 3-hour-long playthrough. Yeah, it's bizarre. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. I haven't played 3 like on Game Pass. I played it forever ago. But 2 was the one where it was probably in high school. It's played so much of it, and yeah, it's like a good thing. I haven't like done the multiplayer. You know, I don't know anyone who has it, but yeah, it's just like something that I wanted to try. So yeah, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Check it out on Xbox Game Pass if you have it. That's my rec.
Nice. Also, I'm just noticing now, because we haven't really talked about this, but I was kind of curious while we were going through stuff, and you were talking about games. As of like right now, Mortal Kombat on PlayStation is like super cheap, so I am gonna get it. Mortal Kombat 11,
nice.
It's like $15, yeah, so hello game. Diggins, what about you? What do you have to recommend to the fine people?
So I would also, like DJ, like to underline my previous rec of Disco Elysium, because I finished it. It's utterly fantastic and super well. I'm definitely going to play it again at some point, because by the very nature of the game, it's impossible to see everything. You just can't.
Okay.
In one playthrough, that is.
Very cool.
I had such a good time with it that I'd love to play it again. But my actual rec for this week, since I've already wrecked that game, is a TV show from a few years ago, from like 2014, I think.
Oh.
That was recommended to me at the time quite extensively, but I never got around to it. But it got added to HBO Max not that long ago. And so I finally decided to give it a watch, and it's really good. So I'm recommending The Nick.
Oh.
Okay.
The Nick, it was a Cinemax show in 2014 about a hospital, the Knickerbocker, in New York in like 1902, which was kind of it was at the forefront of the surgical sciences, shall we call them. Like the surgery that they were doing there was, for the time, very cutting edge. And then also it's just kind of about the doctors and administrators in the hospital, and everything's just kind of interconnected in a way of like weaving their lives together and the problems that the hospital faces. The main inciting event is that the rich family that mostly funds the hospital is forcing them to hire a new surgeon as their assistant chief, who is a African-American man, and the chief surgeon doesn't like that one bit.
Uh-oh. Some drama. This is like Grey's Anatomy, if you ask me.
It's very good though. It's very I don't know, it's very layered. It's also every episode of the series was directed by Steven Soderbergh. So it has a very cinematic feel to it, a very cinematic sense to its shots. and just like the camera work, the transitions, all of that technical aspect of the show is just impeccable. It is eminently watchable, even though it is both kind of depressing and being about surgery in the early 1900s, at times kind of gory and hard to watch.
Yeah.
But they're very restrained about that. It's not like constantly like people elbow deep in bodies. It's just certain scenes deployed judiciously. So it's not too bad. If you can't, I'm extremely squeamish. I cannot watch most medical things. So believe me when I say you're going to have to cover your eyes at some point if you're like me, but much less than you would, be afraid of. So yeah, that's my rec. It's on HBO Max, all 2 seasons that were made. Apparently they've said like back this past September that they might be making a 3rd season now, but for now it's just these 2 seasons, 10 episodes each, hour-long episodes. So not too bad of an investment.
Oh.
Cool. I'm gonna recommend, real quick, couple comic things. I think last week I said I was reading a book I picked up called Kill or Be Killed by Ed Brubaker. It's fine. It's good, but it's not my kind of thing. Basically it's about a guy that is like, tries to kill himself, fails, and then a demon is like, I've saved your life, so now you have to kill a person every month or whatever. It's interesting, but not my favorite. I also read Brian K. Vaughan's, he wrote a, series of Mystique comics, which are very fun. I'm quite enjoying that. There's a new series out called Spider's Shadow. So it's by Chip Zdarsky. It's really interesting. It's a what-if story, kind of within, the what-if line. I don't know if Marvel's, restarting it, but, it's new. It's about what if Spider-Man stuck with the Venom symbiote and, just rode that, and it kind of turned him evil, I guess. We have we're only 1 issue in, but I think that's really fun, and I'm just very, very supportive of the idea of more what-if stories coming out of Marvel these days, and comics in general. But my big rec for the week, I watched a documentary this week.
Oh!
About my favorite thing, tech hucksters. And
you watched the WeWork
I watched the WeWork documentary. Yeah. Tall people are bad and they all need to go. This
Nando's letting his short king bias show again.
What'd you say?
We are the worst.
I said Nando's letting his short king bias show again.
Listen, all I'm saying is I think we need a ghost ship scenario where, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but a very, very taut cord snaps and cuts everyone in half. And the cord has to be about 5 feet 9 inches off the ground. That's all I'm saying. But
I hope you like doing this podcast alone.
I mean, I'm sure I could find some 5'6" people, 5'7"
short people.
Yeah, when we inherit the earth. No, but it's a great documentary. For people that don't know, WeWork was this really simple kind of office sharing concept where it was own a floor of a building and then you can rent out space in it, and that's your office because you work from home and you're a one-man thing. So you get that office culture, which some people miss. And at the at the end of the documentary, we get to present day and everybody's yeah, wouldn't it be nice if people could just be in the same room as each other? And you're oh yeah, I guess I can see the appeal of this. So on its face, nothing crazy. But it is started, the company is started by 2 people, but mostly one, because the other guy seems to just be kind of the logistics dude, who's I want to say the main character or villain or whatever, starts the, what was I going to say? Adam Newman starts the company, and then he just brings this guy on to do all the building of places. But this Adam Newman guy might as well be some sort of I don't know, as close as I think I've seen to a business cult leader, and it's bizarre. This dude, how much do you know about WeWork?
It's funny. There was a time where I felt like every podcast I was listening to had a WeWork ad.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. It was there were a few, but it was man, there's a lot of WeWork ads. So I'm very familiar with what WeWork was, because it doesn't exist anymore, right?
Are you though? You think you are, but you're not, because WeWork, besides just being a place where they would have, like, you know, office space, and it was like trendy and cool and hip and young, and they would have like a beer tap and whatever. They also threw these insane summer camp parties where like everyone would get insanely drunk, and like that was part of it. But also they built We Live, which were like dormitories where people would move. So you would work at a WeWork and you would live at a We Live. They made schools.
Oh boy.
Called We Learn, I think. And it's fun. Adam Newman, his wife's name is Rebecca. And she is all new agey and kind of like, I think she's like the brains behind the whole school idea. And you'll never guess who what famous person her cousin is. You don't have to, because I'll tell you, Gwyneth Paltrow. So if you were wondering what kind of new agey nonsense we're getting into, like this whole story is very strange, and there's a couple of parts in it where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy's like making sense. Like he just wants to bring people together and whatever. And there's all the, you know, the whole documentary is on Hulu. It's like an hour and a half long. I want to say maybe an hour and 20 minutes into it even. No, maybe like an hour and 10. Things are kind of falling apart because it's one of those. And this kid, Adam, who is very young but very tall, has kind of sold the vision of this business as like changing the world, and we're bringing people together, and it's amazing. And there's a guy who they interview. I don't remember who he is. I think it's like a tech reporter or something. And he's like, yeah, and Adam saying like, we're going to change the world. And I'm looking at their business financials. I'm like, you're fucking renting office space, dude. Like, this is not what this company is. And it's crazy to see what this company actually was, and then just like what this weird charismatic guy was able to turn it into. But I say it's the most like a cult because they did like really isolate some of these people where like they wouldn't leave the We Live facility, and they worked at the WeWork place. But the weird part of it is they don't work for WeWork. They work for themselves in theory. It's just really strange. So yeah, it's on Hulu. It's called, God, I don't know what it's called. WeWork, the Rise and Fall of WeWork or something. I don't know. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So it's called, what is it called? WeWork, or The Making and Breaking of a $47 billion Unicorn. So yeah, if you're like me and you love the Fire Festival documentary, and you loved the Theranos documentary, and you just love, you know, really hip young people who do what allegedly seems like fraud getting their comeuppance, then this is a real treat. Even though this guy really does not get the comeuppance you would expect he deserves, not like Billy does, at least in Fire Festival. So those are my recs.
I actually have a friend who's I have a friend whose company used to rent a floor in a WeWork building, and so I visited her there once and got to see it. Like, all the walls were glass. I was like, this seems horrible. I don't want to be constantly viewed by everybody at all times.
Oh, don't even get me started. At one point, Adam, so like we start with Adam, and he's like kind of seems like a nice guy or friendly, and everyone says that when they're like, oh, I met him the first time, and I was like, oh, this guy's got so much charisma. One of the things that I want to say is his personal assistant, whose name I can't remember, but she is getting her performance review in one of these glass offices. And Adam says, like, well, you're doing a great job. You know, you've had a great year or whatever. And then, like, a really described by this personal assistant, a young hot girl walks by, and Adam just points at her, and he's like, but I want you to be more like her. You know, be very, very peppy, and like, I want you to have her energy. So like the glassless windows, they're like the window walls really, you know, were a psychological torture device. It's great. Yeah, it seems like a nightmare. Anything to plug, gentlemen?
Nothing here. We'll have a new Roses and Rejection. I say nothing here, and then I go to...
Yeah, we will have a new Roses and Rejections, DJ. Why is that?
Because we're going to be talking about The Circle.
Yeah, season 2, baby!
2 just dropped. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure it's gonna wind up like being my rec, but who knows, maybe I won't want to recommend it. I will. So that's very exciting. Glad that's happening. So yeah, we'll be covering that. So check out Roses and Rejections on the Pop Break Network feed. Not a rag, but a shout out. So I've been enjoying, for the most part, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Mr. Sunday Movies does a YouTube recap after every episode, and I had it on, and I had it on the living room, and Michelle was in like the other side of the apartment, and she was listening, and I'm gonna try to do my best, Mr. Sunday Movies.
Oh boy!
So yeah. So that's you check out some other things. Did you see Nando V Movies had a movie out talking about the plot of the show changing, blah blah blah, and Michelle just across the apartment's like, what? Like, just hearing Mr. Sunday Movies talk about your stuff, Nando. So that was a cool thing to experience.
Wow. It was a fun.
I can't believe Michael Caine did a guest spot on Mr. Sunday Movies.
Oh my god!
If only. No one would know when Michael Caine starts and James begins, and like it just never ends.
I might.
Yeah, I like that video a lot because it's another one of my weird like conspiracy theory thingies. But yeah, James is cool. I feel like sometimes I'll make a video and I'll be like, I think he's gonna like this. Like I feel like this is the kind of jam that if someone's like watching a show and they're like, what's going on with this show? Then you can like, kind of figure it out. So yeah, that's fun. I'm glad. I was confused when you mentioned it, but then I kind of figured it out. Like after they sent me the link. So yeah, it's cool. I love to see them talking about it, and we'll see.
Got a little shine. It's nice. We got a little shine.
We got 2 weeks of that show left. It's almost over.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And then we gotta wait like 2 months for Loki, right? Or like 6 weeks.
Yeah. Which is a shame because the show's finally getting good. Like, it's finally starting to do something interesting. Yeah.
So that's all I got.
Cool. Diggins, what about you?
Just the usual. You can find my newsletter at alittleperspective.substack.com. Might have some stuff up there soon. Probably I'm working on something about Disco Elysium now that I finished it because I really liked it, and I think there's some interesting things in there to talk about for me specifically. So, just keep an eye. If my brain ever lets me work on things again, they'll pop up there.
Cool. Until then, it's just jangling keys at a baby, mostly.
Yep.
That's your life. I mean,
you
that's
can follow
kind of
me on Twitter, I guess, and maybe
internet,
occasionally see me post pictures of my niece because that's who I am now.
I mean, that's adorable, and I love that.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and occasionally see me, I don't know, start fights with people, but not really. I don't know what I do on Twitter. What do I do on Twitter? What are my
Let
tweets?
People know that you're eating salmon?
Yeah, that used to be the thing, right? But then...
Let's find... This is where we read Nando's tweets. I'm going to read his last 3.
I mostly complain about Joe Biden on my tweets, I think. I'm looking at some of them now.
All right, so...
they're all great.
Oh, here we go. This is great. So I'm not going to do retweets. These are organic tweets from Nando.
Organic tweets.
So first one. Every time someone in the Mortal Kombat movie says flawless victory, and then it's the gif from Princess Bride, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
Terrific tweet from me. 1 for 1 so far.
And then the second one. So this was like a retweet with comments, so I guess it counts. So I promise you don't have to know a 20-year-old video game character to be a Star Wars fan, no matter how great she is. And then Nando said, for fake fans who don't know, this is Revan, and it's like a porg with a lightsaber.
Oh, yes.
Oh, God,
that was
if
from
only.
the Revan debate of yesterday. When someone was like on the internet was really mad at people who were like, oh, I love Star Wars. I like how they kiss each other and stuff, and I don't even know who Revan is. And then everybody was like, that's a stupid opinion I have. And this is what I said about it. And what's the third tweet, DJ?
All right, so I really just think your Twitter account is just your thoughts exposed, because the third tweet is, after watching the Fire Festival and WeWork documentaries, I don't think I could even trust tall people ever again.
That's very true. All good stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, that is what I tweet about.
That's what you get on his Twitter account.
It's all great. Speaking of Twitter accounts, so next week, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and then the week after that, the Mortal Kombat movie. Until then, I am at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day.
I'm at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
See ya.
Bye. We love you.